I'm looking for a Mr. Matt Wellborn.
Yeah, I've been looking for you too, pal.
Pounding Matt! Ned, stop. Quiet. Matt's gonna get pounded by Liam Kilgannon.
Childhood.
We needed those. We really did.
Which is true. Means death for us all.
Up yours, children.
Why does it mine look like that?
Welcome to No Kids 3 Money, a Simpsons podcast through the lens of time. It's your new favourite podcast about your old favourite show. I am one half of your host, Ned.
And I'm Matt.
And our trusty producer behind the camera, the man on the ones and twos.
Oh, it's me.
It is you. You are Keegan.
Hello.
And once again, we have a guest joining us this week, our good friend Killer.
Hi, everybody.
Everyone knows it's Killer.
That's me.
Thanks for having us.
Anytime.
So, I believe we forgot to ask Killer this question, which we asked Aiden last week, in
Yes.
quotation marks. Do you have off the top of your head just your top 2 or 3 episodes of The Simpsons that you can think of?
It's pretty hard. There's so many good ones. I reckon up there, I have no idea what season it is. You might know. I think we've spoken about it. It's the 5-part one where Homer chops his thumbs off and Wingmo the robot.
I don't know exactly
Yeah.
what episode it is, but I believe it's season 12.
Sounds about right. That's probably one of my favorite scripts. It's not full of funny, but the way they tie it all together.
Yeah.
And it's Bart's Day, Lisa's Day, Homer's Day.
I always
It's
remember
probably the
that.
best.
Like,
I
sort
don't
of
Remember this episode?
No, I'm just staring at you because of that movie that you mentioned earlier where it's 3 stories being told.
Rashomon.
Yeah. Is this Rashomon? To a degree?
It's similar to what I can say a modern day movie would be like The Departed. It shows the point of view of different people in the movie that all come together for one thing at the end.
and all their plots meshed together.
Yeah,
Okay.
and crisscross and shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, that's in the Simpsons episode. Homer cuts his thumb off, goes into to the bar, Moe's bar, gets the fucking pickle juice jar and puts his thumb in that to preserve it.
Yeah.
And whilst he's in there, gets pissed after a few beers, and then Marge's day ends up with saving Lisa to get her to whatever.
Yep.
And Homer then has to try and hitchhike with no thumb.
Yep.
That's the way it crisscrosses, I suppose. So that's that's probably up there with one of my favorites. Probably the Homer on Hunger Strike's probably up there as well.
That is a good episode.
That's a really good one.
Duffman is
and-
thrusting in the direction
yeah.
of the problem.
Duffman can't breathe. Oh yeah. No, that's probably up there. Yeah, I don't know. And then there's heaps of good episodes. There's heaps of dud episodes too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably my 2, I would say.
Okay.
Off the top of I didn't really prepare.
Like I said, we didn't ask you that question,
Yeah,
so
you know that we've spoken about it before. That's probably one of my favorite episodes. Is the one where they mash them all together.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's good.
it's good.
Sounds good.
Alrighty. Well, do you want to hit us with a synopsis for season 2, episode 11?
Yes.
I got it right.
Well done.
Yeah, nailed it.
1 out of 2.
One out of 30. What are you talking about?
There's no continuity here, so 1 out of 2.
Now, a little death anxiety is normal. You can expect to go through 5 stages. The first is denial.
No way, because I'm not dying.
Second is anger.
Why, you little...
After that comes fear.
What's after fear? What's after fear?
Bargaining.
Doc, you gotta get me out of this. I'll make it worth your while.
Finally, acceptance.
Well, we all gotta go sometime.
Mr. Simpson, your progress astounds me. I should leave you 2 alone. Perhaps this pamphlet will be helpful.
So you're going to die.
Titled One Fish, Two Fish, Blowfish, Bluefish. Synopsis reads, the Simpsons go to a new sushi bar where Homer takes a liking to the food and decides to try fugu, which is poisonous if not cut properly. Homer's fugu is not, and he is taken to the hospital where he is told he has 24 hours to live, but it's actually 22 hours because Dr. Hibbert took so long to finally see him. Homer makes a list of things he wants to do and spends his last day making amends with Grandpa and talking to his children. Homer accepts his fate, but it turns out he was not poisoned after all, and he vows to live life to its fullest. Homer then continues to live his life as before.
That made me piss myself, but we'll get to that.
That's actually a really good synopsis.
It's pretty well rounded,
yeah.
hey? Yeah. So where I've been getting them from is much better than the last place, which was
original?
the same website.
Yes.
Just missed the link.
Yeah.
My first note is it's weird seeing Lisa eat meat still.
Well, yeah, I got a note about that. It's like Lisa's eating meatloaf, so she's not yet vegetarian.
Yep.
Which I don't know when that comes about.
Yeah.
Has it been proposed?
It wouldn't be far away.
It doesn't
Yeah.
happen until like season 7 or 8.
Really?
Yeah. It
Wow.
takes a minute.
I mean, maybe it was like the way the world was at the time. Maybe like, vegetarianism wasn't such like a prevalent thing about like that would mold into like Lisa's
Yeah,
personality,
true.
I suppose, yeah. But
She's built into it.
the
Yeah,
way
like
that
over
she's
the years.
the way that she's speaking about the actual like animals that the products are being taken from sort of implies that she's already got some form of morality problem about it.
Because she's questioning like, Tuesday's always meatloaf night, and then Friday's always pork chop night.
Yeah,
So
and
she has a problem with it, but doesn't really divulge too much more.
isn't part of her like personality being kind of thing. Yeah.
I do remember an episode being called Lisa the Vegetarian, so maybe that's where it starts.
Well, is that
Yeah,
is that with the teacher?
That's literally the episode.
Yeah, is that
Yeah.
the teacher? Then she gets a veggie back at the end of Marge.
no, it's the episode where Homer he hosts like a barbecue or something like that, and she refuses to.
BBBQ.
Yeah.
The extra B is for BYOBB. Oh, that's a typo.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah, we all had the same first note.
Yes.
It was like
Well-
questioning whether Lisa was vegetarian or not.
I did put a little like note in saying that the couch gag was fucking pretty shit, but I don't even know what it is anymore. Like I remember putting in like shit couch gag. That was the
Mustn't have been that good.
We'll rewatch it at some point.
And
Yeah.
we never did.
I've got a vague through line of Japanese culture being betrayed a week apart. So last
yeah,
week's
you're right.
episode was the end of season 10, which was, yes, last week. It was like they went to Japan and
Yep.
were in the Japanese culture for the whole episode, essentially. So it carries through somewhat to this season 2 episode.
Yeah. I wonder if they wanted to write a section of this into that episode about like them going to try sushi or something, and they just like couldn't. So like, let's just
Yeah, true.
side note it, maybe like make it another episode of them going to. I mean, maybe that's a bit far fetched, but
Nah, that's what the show's built on, is vague through lines. So it does make sense.
So I know you eat a lot of sushi, or have done in the past, or have enjoyed sushi rather.
love sushi, but
So
feels like a weird personality trait. That you know
That's what
about
he's
me.
known for, really.
I'm a
is-
sushi
yeah, it's
guy.
killer. It's a guy that eats sushi. What is the thing that they always like yell when you walk into like a sushi restaurant?
It's usually just like a hello in Japanese, and I think arigato is thank you, I think, in Japanese, but it's not that. But I'm just saying they say something like that, and I think it's a similar like, it's one of those like languages where like when like aloha means like hello and bye. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
like there's a few words in Japanese you might know, Kegs.
It's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause- well, especially with like Hawaiian as well,
Yeah,
because like heaps of that language has been a bit molded by the Japanese as well. There's a big Japanese population in Hawaii.
right.
Yeah.
Is that what they say? Is it arigato? Is it arigato? Is that how you say it? I don't know. I'm probably butchering that.
yeah,
Sorry to
it's,
our
it's
Japanese
basically
listeners.
that. Where it's
the one.
it might even be like a more like formal or less formal greeting.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's more or less like you're walking into a sushi restaurant, it's like hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a welcoming.
They're just profoundly
hello, yeah.
friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like any sort of Aussie or American based restaurant, you wouldn't be greeted at all.
Yes.
Well, there's one American restaurant you do get greeted in, and it's Moe's, and they do
Family feedback.
burritos. No, but it's funny that it's called Moe's, but they do like a burrito thing. And when you walk into Moe's, they have like all these funny. Their menu is all like movies and
Okay.
sitcoms and stuff. So like you can get like out of Friends, there's like the ugly naked guy that like lives
Oh,
across
yeah.
the street. Yeah, you can like order an ugly naked guy. But when you walk in there, everybody that's working there almost screams, but goes, "Welcome to Moe's" at the top of their lungs.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's sort of
So
like,
that's probably the only
it is ringing a
Western
bell
one.
for me too. So like I remember going to a sushi place one of the maybe 3 times in my life I have been there, and they did greet us as we walked in. But again,
Yeah.
that just sort of more resonates to the Japanese culture.
So, being somebody that's worked in customer service for a long period of time, Matt, how fast do you reckon you would kill yourself having to do that in a job?
The first day,
Yeah.
it'd be like
Imagine how fucking painful that would be.
to draw a similarity, it'd be like if you worked in customer service at a retail store at Christmas, you'd have to hear Christmas songs on repeat. That's what it's like in general in customer service, greeting people. Like
Mariah Carey's not going to die of old age. She's going to die from some disgruntled Target employee just beating her skull in the middle of the street because they don't want to hear her fucking songs anymore.
Well,
that's not going to stop them. But
I was going to say, it's funny you say that too. I think a lot of retail things have like their like couple of hit songs. So they have like a track of like 4 or 5 probably on repeat.
Oh yeah, they
which
do.
is awful. Imagine listening to the same 4 fucking Christmas songs all day. Not only Christmas songs, but over and over.
Oh yeah, for sure. As someone who like worked in retail for ages, it's fucking hell.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Where it's even worse like working in an office. It's like the thing that people call like coworker music. You have to like listen to like the people that you work with's music all day.
That's awful.
Oh, it's fucking shit, bro.
A fate worse than death.
Yeah, I was about to say anyone that's got a bit of a different taste is like, nah, that's not co-working music. You just don't fit the mold to like branch out to everybody else, but everyone else has got to listen to. Yeah, you have to listen to everyone else's shit.
It's more or less just like you listen to Taylor Swift all day, and that's it.
I mean, that's not all bad.
Well, it is
a couple
when
of bangers.
I just lucked out, and my co-workers are ex-crackheads that love Tool.
Just love anything related to the gear.
Yeah.
Tools and gear. One and the same.
Close enough.
Yeah.
I love you, Johnny. Don't hurt me.
Oh, look, there's some gear that looks like Dad. Let's kill it.
Okay.
All right. So we've got through our first note.
Yeah, fellas.
My next note is it is very non-threatening. Well, I didn't even get through the rest of the note that I had before, which is yelling in Japanese, and then like Homer's all freaked out by that. And
It's like, what did they say?
The Japanese guy explains to him, "Oh, it's just their way of saying hello," and he's like, "Oh," and then he leans into the behind the camera, and he's like, "Hello," and they're like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
Dropping all the shit. My note about that sort of entrance part is like the sushi bar that the Simpsons family visits is located on a street called Elm Street, reference to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Just like very small frames, like you probably get 2 seconds. If you miss it, it's gone.
If that,
Yeah,
yeah.
that kind of, yeah.
Which is what a lot of visual gags are on the show.
I missed it.
I missed it.
I don't know whether you have this through line written down, but even deeper with the Japanese references, Homer and Bart go to this sumo, like a sumo wrestling show, and the name of the restaurant that they're going to in this episode is called the Happy Sumo.
Right.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, copy.
I didn't write that down, but I only just sort of clicked on that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, the same, I think his name's Akira, like the host of the Japanese
He
restaurant.
turns up a couple of
Well,
times.
it's another.
He's in the episode
I was about to
season
say, I was
21.
going to bring it up. Yeah, it's the same Japanese staple guy.
He is
They
too,
do
yeah.
a lot of in The Simpsons. Obviously,
Now
they
we
have like
And like how
staple.
often? Yeah, how often?
Now we
how
fold
often
the
do we
legs
see-
like a pretzel and pop this in spine like a bubble wrap.
He feels no pain.
Oh, my English not so good. He feels only pain.
Yeah, but it's the same as like the little greasy dude and like Gil and all those things. They just like fill that role
Yeah,
stereotypically, but
Yeah.
like the same character. They don't really like.
they pop up when they're needed.
Yeah.
Not,
He pops
yeah,
up in the
they're just
Mr. Sparkle episode because Homer's questioning him about it. And he's on the phone and he's just like, hi, bye. And hangs up.
Is that when he's in Japan at the time too?
No, they go down to the Japanese restaurant because he's trying to figure out why his likeness is on the fucking,
Oh, yeah, probably.
the
washing detergent.
Yeah, the washing detergent.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting way too far off topic here.
My next note is just Homer eats the entire menu and comes across fugu as the last thing that he hasn't tried yet. So
okay.
Homer's fully against going to this sushi restaurant
Yeah.
because it's not meat typically, and then tries his first bite and then just scoffs everything else.
And then like really small note, but like obviously sushi has like 2 things on the plate, so it's
Yeah.
like they put like 2 plates in front of Homer. So theoretically, he's got like 4 things to eat.
Yeah.
He loves it, and then just like proceeds to shovel 30 times into his mouth.
Yeah.
So I don't know where all that food is coming from.
yeah, it's just one of those things that's like it just reappears
Yeah.
again immediately.
Yeah, I've never eaten at a sushi restaurant, but I've been to one. And yeah, the portions are like literally 2 pieces on a plate kind of thing. So it's like you would have had to have 40 plates in front of you to eat that amount of food.
Yeah.
And I know the Simpsons always get portrayed as like pretty well off in their situation, but sushi's expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Don't go for 40 plates.
Don't
Yeah.
eat the entire menu.
Yeah.
It'll be
Fuck
$1,000
no.
or more dollars.
Yeah. Every time I go there, I'm like, fuck, I did it again.
Yeah.
Don't go to sushi hungry. That's advice.
Yes.
Literally.
Have a backup.
Yeah, get your cheeseburger first, then go to sushi.
Yeah.
So, have you got something?
Oh, I was just gonna say that this is probably late. This is before they go to the thing that like the ongoing theme of like the kids just like niggling at home, like, so can we go to Camp Krusty? Is it not? No, was it?
Can we get a pool, Dad? Can we get a pool, Dad? Can we
Yeah,
get a pool, Dad?
yeah.
Can we go to Matt Splashmore? Can we go to Matt Splashmore?
Yes. They do the same thing about going to the sushi restaurant at the
Yeah.
start,
Yes.
which is like a kind of a constant thing that pops up.
True.
Is them
True.
just like,
But that's the first time I
Chipping
can think
away.
of that joke coming up.
yeah, probably.
It's
If
probably
were
the
they just
birth of
like-
it.
Yeah. Well, Lisa says it like 50 times. Can we go to sushi, Dad?
Yeah.
She says something about like asking him 99 times or something like that, and eventually like breaking his will.
Yeah. Which is like, everything we're discussing right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
100%.
Can I say another note? When they went to the karaoke part and that like cuts from the Japanese to the karaoke scene.
Yep.
And it's like, it doesn't even look like they're in the same restaurant. When
All
at
right.
the start, yeah, cool. All right, you bring that up.
So I had a note on this and said karaoke scene was strange, made me think of how there was still some overly childish elements to the show.
Yeah.
So to quickly explain the scene, there just cuts to a Japanese man singing karaoke. Karaoke is huge in Japan, isn't it,
Yeah.
Keegan?
A lot of karaoke
Very
bars are run
appropriate.
by Japanese people.
Very
Yes.
appropriate for the sushi restaurant to have karaoke. but-
Yeah. So the kids then come on in the next scene and start singing the theme song to Shaft and something like that. But the next part of my note was, it made me think of how there was still some overly childish elements to the show. Then my next note is, I stand immediately corrected as the sushi chef bangs Krabappel in the back of a car.
Yes.
He's literally in the middle.
hands are busy.
He's literally in the middle of service and he's just like, oh, my booty call's here. Just turns up and fucks her in the back of a car.
Which is pretty funny of Edna just getting around. Like the common theme of Edna just getting railed by everyone in Springfield almost.
Yeah.
Well, the
At some
last
point.
Yeah.
the last episode that we covered last week was pretty much
based.
entirely focused on Krabappel and her getting fired because Bart spikes her drink and shit like that at work. So we were kind of comparing her whole like jaded attitude towards sexuality as opposed to like some of the other characters.
Okay.
So it's interesting to see like that and then this straight away of her just like banging an ugly sushi chef in a
Yeah,
car park
fucking
because
fat
she just
Japanese man, yeah.
wants attention.
Who kind of depicts what a sumo guy probably would look like as well.
Yeah.
A
If you-
retired sumo
If you
guy.
dried him out.
Greased him up.
I love the scene where like Homer orders the fugu and like I assume sous chef is trying to cook it and then goes and asks the head chef for help, and that scene comes up where he's banging Krabappel and then he goes back and he's like, careful, and it just deflates the fish straight away.
Yeah.
That was always nice.
I don't know. I just feel like with the karaoke swap though, it doesn't even look like the same restaurant. That was like afterwards, I kind of like paused and rewound and was like, what the fuck's happening? Because it looks like they go somewhere completely different.
It did throw me off for a
Yeah.
minute, and I think the thing that would have made a little bit more of like a continuity to it, if when they flipped back to Homer ordering the fugu before the kids sing that song, if they had a tiny bit of that audio playing in the background, like
Well-
there was obviously a second part of the restaurant that was this.
I was going to say, even like a second angle where it's just like in the background, because the color scheme and everything's so different.
So different.
So
It's,
when they just cut scene to the thing, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
it
right
threw
now?
me off too.
Yeah.
I was like, why is this
Yeah.
happening right now?
Probably just goes back to being a hand-drawn skit at this point in time.
Yeah.
Like the animation wasn't up to scratch, so even just vaguely pointing towards that there's a karaoke bar inside would have cost them time and money to draw in. So
Yeah,
they're just like,
yeah.
oh, fuck it. They'll get
Yeah,
it.
two different color schemes in like a long shot scene would have been absolutely painful for them doing cell animation.
Oh, absolutely. And it's again, then you'd have to like draw that in 35 times a second.
Just to do a cut,
Explain it to
just-
Killer again, just so he understands.
Yeah. So what I was explaining last episode is that like with cell animation, how it works is that like each second of animation is 35 frames, and that's 35 hand-drawn frames.
Copy.
Yeah,
Fucked up.
it's fucked up. It takes a long time to make anything.
So maybe they did it 2 frames worth and was like, fuck this, and we just couldn't see it because it happened too fast.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it's like a budget thing. It's
Could've
just
been.
like
Yeah.
no one's gonna question this.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it just
Until they're
made-
analyzing it in 30 years.
I mean, it just made sense when they went to like Bart and Lisa singing, and then I was like, oh, true. What the fuck's happening now? This is in the same restaurant. I thought it might have been like a fucking vision from somebody at the start. Anyway, one more note about the karaoke is that Lisa's pearls change color. They're like blue for the first
Ooh.
half, and I was like, is that trying to be like a cool reflection, not a blue, like a purple hue to it? And I thought it might be like a reflection of like the room they're in, maybe trying to be like, and then I was like, and then it goes to white, and I was like, okay,
I didn't even notice that.
yeah, like at the start, because I was trying to be like, when I was watching it,
No one can tell the
notice
diddly
things.
difference.
Yeah,
It's hard to judge what, especially in these early seasons, is like an animation error as opposed to a conscious choice.
yeah. Well, like obviously the color like reflected like the room they're in, so I was like, maybe they're trying to do it as like an unnecessary like reflection, being pearls. You know what I mean? They
trying
probably,
too hard.
Yeah,
I feel like it was an animation error, but if you were to ask the person that did it that question, they would be like, oh no, I did that. Yeah, 100%. The dark room, everything you just said.
yeah, 100% on purpose.
That sounds like smarter.
Did you like it? My next note is when the chef at the sushi bar finds out Homer has been poisoned, he yells at his apprentices in Japanese. The staff wanted the language they spoke to be actual Japanese, so they hired a Japanese actor who translated the lines for them.
Oh, okay.
So, like, going back to last week's set where the Simpsons went to Japan, they got Japanese voice actors to come in and portray proper dialect and things like that. So they wanted it to sound authentic as opposed to just parodying a Japanese accent, which probably would have been looked at as more racist.
Yeah, and it's probably a good thing looking back at it from like this era.
Yeah,
they did that because
true.
Anyone
it would have been banned by now.
Nonsense, yeah. If you're not saying actual words by Japanese, if you're just saying nonsense like you would do, obviously everyone would hate on that.
Yeah, they'll get their back up about it.
Yeah,
agreed.
My next note is like I wasn't sure, so I wanted to actually like look it up and be completely positive about it. But
And we never did.
No, I actually did. There is no antidote for the blowfish or the venom they produce, which is called tetrodotoxin.
Damn.
That's the venom
Yeah.
name, or
It's the name of the venom that they
right.
produce.
It's probably similar to like if you got bitten by a blue-ringed octopus, like you're gonna die.
There's no venom. There's no anti-venom for that.
Not unless you have it on your person. I think you die. I think it's within 30 minutes the poison will kill you.
I think it's
Jesus.
Yeah. So like, fuck.
Didn't we see one of those once?
I mean, I feel like it's the same with like brown snakes and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I feel like you got like a real like if you panic and run to the car, you're probably gonna have like 20 minutes.
Yeah. You necessarily
Don't fact check that.
You're more than often fucked.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Like, yeah, a red belly
Happened to a
black
kid a
eel.
couple of weeks ago. He was walking through the bush and he thought he got like hit by a twig or something like that. It was actually a brown snake.
They're just fucking
Eh,
yeah, right.
Just dead in like an
I
hour.
was going to say, yeah, he probably died.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, hit by a twig. I mean, but I don't know. I don't know what a brown snake bite feels like.
That's
so.
how quick it is, apparently.
Yeah.
It feels like
Yeah.
you hit your fucking leg on a piece of wood, but it's the most deadly animal on the planet.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose if you nick your leg on a piece of wire, you're like, and that's it. I suppose
Yeah.
it's the same because it's so fast. It probably
Yeah.
might not even hurt.
Their
I mean, it would
fangs,
hurt,
they'd
but-
be like needle-like, so you'd barely feel it, I would say. Unless you saw it slithering away, you probably wouldn't know that you just
Yeah.
got bit by a snake.
True. That's shit. That's even worse than
Yeah.
thinking about it like that.
Just going about your day for the next 20 minutes and like, oh, wait, I'm dead.
Yep.
I kicked some wire or a piece of wood. No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Why do I feel sick?
I mean, ignorance is bliss. So.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're going to die, you probably don't want to know about it.
yeah.
100%.
Well, Homer does know about it. So my next note is, why would you sleep?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought that was strange, and they're having that discussion that they're going to bed and they're going to wake up early when you have 20 hours.
24 hours to live. It's like,
not
bro,
even,
just
yeah.
get a bag of meth and just live. Like,
Just do an all-nighter.
Yeah, I mean, die tired would be better than
Yeah. Sleeping for 8 hours and being like, oh, sweet, that was a good sleep. Anyway, off to the fucking afterlife.
last 12 hours left,
Yeah.
guys.
My next note is the first pamphlet gag of the series. So this is when they're in the doctor's office and Dr. Hibbert's talking to Homer and Marge about it and then gives them the pamphlet. So you're going to die.
yeah.
Which is used constantly throughout the series
Yeah.
when there's something wrong.
And it's not even just the pamphlet gag. It's like, it's deeper than that. It's the so you've.
Yeah.
Like, so you've is used in
So you've
every
just-
single pamphlet gag as well. It's like, so you've done something.
decided to ruin your life when
Yes.
they're pregnant again. Yeah. That's the only other one I can think of right now.
The next line immediately after that is great when he's angry in the kitchen. She's like, why'd you let me sleep in so long? He's like, you look so peaceful lying there. And he's like, there'll be plenty of time for that.
when he's got literally 10 hours, no time for anything. Yeah.
One of my like favorite lines of all time because it resonates with my mind. Like I've never forgotten it since I heard it the first time is when he's like teaching Bart how to shave. And he's like, and a little spot over here. This is after he shaved and cut his face everywhere and shit. And there's like bits of paper stuck to him. And then the last thing he says to Bart, and that's how we shave.
After he's like screaming after putting the aftershave on.
Well, I was just going to say that the part where like he goes into like have a man-to-man chat with Bart and Bart's just so used to being in trouble he just dacks his pants
Immediately pulls his pants down.
ready for a spanking like whatever like so just desensitized to it.
It's ingrained in his mind that whenever Dad wants to talk he's in trouble.
Yeah,
I like that.
What are the 3 pieces of advice that he gives him or like things to say?
If I don't know, something about if something ever happens, it was already like that when he got there.
It was like that when I got here.
Yeah.
Which is what he does at the end of the thing. He breaks the aftershave. It was like that when I got here.
Yeah. It was something about saying yes to the boss or something like that.
Yes, boss, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't remember what the first one was, but it was like generic advice to
just get out of trouble.
Put into conversation.
Just to dodge.
It's something we've probably all used unknowingly.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, 100%.
It's like when you touch something and it fucking breaks, you're like, oh, God.
I mean,
I don't want to get in trouble for this. So.
Yeah, the other week, I'm not going to describe the incident, but the other week, literally just look at another bloke and like, this didn't happen, did it? And you were like, what happened? And I was like, exactly.
Yeah, I work,
we just
I work in the
left.
civil industry, so that happens every day of the week. Just, oh no, yeah, I was already like that. Yeah,
There are times you just be banging a star picket into the ground to fucking put lights in for something, and then you just hear this conk,
or like
you're like, that's a plumber's pipe.
we won't worry.
Any of
about
the plumbers here? Oh well, fuck them.
Are we in Praiseland? Like the gas lines getting.
I
fucking
taste
nicked?
blood. I think he goes straight to, wait, what does he do sort of immediately? He has like the like heart to heart with the kids. He speaks to Bart and then he speaks to Lisa, or he tells her to play the saxophone, which he's weirdly angry about.
Because she's playing a depressing tune.
Yeah, she's playing blues. He starts crying.
No,
about
before
it.
that,
Yeah.
before she even starts playing, he walks in and she says, once again, she's desensitized to shit because she says like, oh, do you want me to start with this infernal racket?
Yeah.
And he's like, asks her to play for her and she's like, why? And he's like, can't a father just enjoy his daughter's gift? Just play.
Yeah.
Like angry about it.
Yeah.
Then she plays the sad song and he starts bawling his eyes out and then she breaks into When the Saints Go Marching In. Which is one of those like Simpsons. I don't know how, like, what would be the best term to describe it, but we need to coin it on this show. Of like you being exposed to culture things through The Simpsons that The Simpsons have slightly altered. I was completely under the impression that the song When the Saints Come Marching In had a part where they went, and over there.
over there.
Yeah. I had no fucking idea until I heard it and I was like, where's the over there part? Yeah.
And after this part and the other part, there's only 2 parts left. I think the next scene that I can recall from this ep is Homer goes to see Grandpa.
Yes.
And the sign on the front of the retirement home is, thank you for not discussing the outside world.
Well, I was sorry.
Yeah, no,
before
you're
that,
good.
he goes to Flanders' house to get the camcorder now.
Does too.
Yeah, and then basically Flanders
right.
wants to come for a barbecue. He's like, no, can't.
Yeah.
Then like fake makes plans, and he's like, yeah, I'll be there, and I'll even bring 2 bones.
Yeah.
because he only wants to make plans with Flanders because he's going to be dead.
Yeah. Literally walks out. He's like, joke's on him. I'll be dead by then. How is the joke on him?
Flanders just being the nicest human of all time. Like Homer comes in to borrow something yet again and then offers for him to come to a barbecue. He's like, I'd rather die.
I'd rather die.
Yeah.
But yes, then after that, he goes to visit his dad.
Yeah.
And one of the first things he says, he goes, Dad, we've never been too close, have we? And it's just Grandpa's just like, not to my knowledge.
I thought it was nice that they went fishing.
Yeah. It was a
It
really
shows a really soft side to like, I mean, all of these relationship gels show a really soft side to Homer, I suppose.
Yeah, I agree.
Coffee?
Oh, yeah.
COBE. Yeah, I agree. Like the Homer and Grandpa scene was like heartwarming in a way because I think at this point in time, Grandpa hasn't been used to what we sort of recognize as what his character traits are as being just like senile and left out of everything, essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
This is one of the first times that, well, maybe the only time that Homer goes and visits him for a purpose.
Yeah,
No.
off his own accord as well. Because
Yeah.
he's usually got someone with him. It's usually involving something.
Yeah.
It's usually like a pain in Homer's ass to deal with.
Yeah.
Rather than him going, just be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, they do the fishing montage, and then after they finish fishing, they're like wrestling on the sort of bay of the lake or whatever they're on. And like Grandpa's got him in a headlock and stuff, and they're laughing.
Don't remember that scene.
Oh,
so
right.
that's bad.
It was sort of like a childhood memory a lot of kids would probably have of playing with their dads, like roughhousing, essentially.
Probably at a lot younger age, not like 80 and 40.
And
whatever,
Homer's like, I
36,
think,
whatever.
42 at this stage.
Yeah.
I thought he's like sort of perpetually stuck at 36.
Yeah, I thought he was
Yeah.
36, but I
36.
feel like if he's fucking 36, I'm. Yeah, anyway. Different
If
era.
peeing your pants is cool, then I'm Miles Davis. And then after this point, Homer ends up crossing a few things off his bucket list because he spent a bit too much time with Grandpa. And then he's driving home, like speeding, and the cops pull him over, and he's essentially asking the cops to give him a ticket real quickly.
Yeah, let's
because
just get this over and done with. Yeah.
And they're like, oh, got somewhere to be, eh?
I felt like Lou and what's the other cop?
Eddie.
Eddie and Lou were like really strangely portrayed, like good cop, bad cop, but then they were kind of like both good cop. I don't know. It was weird.
B-E.
C-O.
Yeah, they were doing good cop, bad cop, but then
Yeah.
bad cop, bad cop.
Yeah, and then but that was strange. It felt like they were both, I'll say, for they were
PC
both
terms.
extra cool.
Yeah.
Like really,
Just like
Ooh.
slow talk and
yeah.
Slick.
And like the animation was strange. I don't know if it's like Disney Plus. No, I don't think it would be.
Thank
They were
you.
like very elongated and tall right next to the car. I don't know if that was like on purpose to make them like look like they were overpowering.
might have been more of an imposing view that they were trying to take,
Yeah.
but I get what you mean because like the show used to be in like the 16:9
Yeah.
frame, and that's cut off because Disney Plus wants it full screen. So
Yeah,
like
copy.
a lot of stuff at the bottom of the frame or the top might get cut out that we used to see but don't see anymore.
Right. So yeah, this might be like small gags and things that
Yeah.
you kind of
Get cut off.
you don't see the whole thing of it, so you miss out on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Got to own the DVDs for that shit.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to do the Stark Raving Dad episode at the start of season 3, which is the Michael Jackson one.
True. Yeah. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. And then Homer gets put in jail because he doesn't want to wants to get a ticket quickly and get out of there.
A dude sitting there playing the harmonica, and he goes, "What are you in for?" That sounds nice. What are you in for? And the guy stops playing the harmonica, and he's like, "Atmosphere."
What is that like?
Yeah, no idea what that
As
is.
in, like he's playing the harmonica to add to the jail atmosphere.
That makes total sense.
Yeah, that's actually
That's
funny
fucking
now.
hilarious. Like they could could have just had him as like a random inmate sitting there and said something fucked up, like I don't know, killing a child or something.
Yeah.
But just atmosphere.
I'm Timothy McVeigh.
I'm the Oklahoma City bomber. You know me?
Looking at you, Boardman.
He's your number one fan.
Oh,
So hang
the
on,
only
what?
fan to reach out.
Oh, that's right. And then he calls Barney.
He
Yeah,
needs,
why the
50
fuck does he
bucks for
call
bail
Barney? Why does the fuck does he call Barney?
because he
I
needs
think-
bail money.
No, I understand. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
why the
that-
of all
yeah.
these calls, like you're about to die, wouldn't you like want to like just see you?
Yeah, he's got the one call that
Yeah.
you're allowed to make when you get arrested. I don't know if that's a real thing or not. You get one call.
I feel like maybe he was still just trying to protect his image within his family kind of thing. He didn't want to call his wife and be like, "Hey, can you
jail
come
his
down here and
last day.
bail me out?" Because then his kids would know kind of thing.
Also, you have to like. Well, we were talking about this off air about the way the show's written, which is reference to a movie. You said it, Kegs.
Yeah, generally, like, they borrow the plot line from a movie, a book, a TV show, some other form of media, and just adapt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
So which one was this?
Yeah. Do you know what?
The
it
Dustin
was?
Hoffman movie or
I
something?
think you said
Oh,
something about it
the
earlier.
Graduate.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah,
is
like,
that this
just like the reference of just like him banging up against the glass.
Oh,
It was just
okay.
one
Oh,
scene.
that
Yeah.
one thing. Yeah, copy. I thought you meant like the when we were talking about it before, the writing of this,
Oh,
like you know,
yeah.
like the jail, then like getting picked up.
There is some episodes like that.
Like
Yeah,
full
yeah.
plot
Yeah.
point to plot point. No, sometimes it's just like a visual reference or a
Yeah, right.
Just like one scene where like,
one
we'll,
snippet. Yeah.
yeah, we'll just like borrow the scene from like The Graduate.
Yes.
And just
Yeah, no, because like the running from the car, like I thought that's probably going to be from some form of a movie.
If
Where
it's-
they'll like break down, then he runs, he decides to run home.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
gotta be out of
I think that
something.
is
Yeah.
The Graduate. That's where it starts, is where Homer's
Yeah,
running home to
okay.
Marge. I assume it's from The Graduate.
Right.
Because it couldn't just be the window bashing scene.
But yeah, this
you're
is
probably right.
Yeah.
not one of the first scenes that we've seen Barney really like sort of portrayed as because we've seen his apartment before. It's always been a shithole kind of thing. But I think this is like really the episode where they finally just sort of decided overall to make him just this fucking dead shit fucking human being.
Yeah.
He literally picks up a fucking note that's like attached to a bit of pizza and he's like, pizza!
Yeah.
Eats it.
I think it's funny though, because like obviously Homer decides to call Barney, and there's a few other like episodes where like Homer and Barney's like have quite a good quality friendship.
They're like best friends.
Yeah, but like, because I mean, obviously he's like, sorry about that. He's obviously friends with like. Did
that ever happen?
Like
No, it
Lenny and
doesn't.
Carl, and they're probably the best friends. But I feel like as an of like Homer's probably best friend is Barney. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah,
don't
most
see
likely.
That much of him, but
Because he's
there's a
friends with Lenny and Carl, but they're like best friends.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
buddies, and he's like the third guy in. But
Joey
yeah.
Jojo.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
thought it was nice because like when he does a helicopter thing, like Homer's like he's like his guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
true.
Episode too, like yeah,
I forgot about that episode.
good
Yeah,
ep-
that's
good
when
episode.
he gets like clean
Sober.
For a while.
Yeah, because Barney goes sober after a period of time.
Yeah.
Is that's not the NASA episode either, is it?
He does for that episode.
Yeah.
Then they celebrate with champagne and he drinks it, and that's
what
why
I'm saying.
Homer
the
ends up
helicopter and the NASA episode are different. Yeah,
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he breaks.
There's a
sobriety
period, so he-
on non-alcoholic champagne.
Yeah.
He is sober for.
I don't understand. That was non-alcoholic champagne. He takes
Yeah.
the jetpack.
yeah. Yeah, those are two separate episodes. I can't remember exactly the episode where he gets like sober, but there's a full episode dedicated to it. I think it might be the helicopter one.
And that's when
Yeah.
Mo starts the coffee business. And
Yeah.
like sort of gets him hooked on coffee instead of alcohol.
Is that the same episode?
I don't think
It's
the
literally
same.
the
Another
last
one.
scene of the episode.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
the helicopter one.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's all like,
I swear it's like something that you just like completely renege on like an episode or two later and he's just like drunk again.
really?
Oh, he,
And then like it's like in season 20 something. Like they make it like a full actual transformative character plot point that Barney goes sober. And he's like that from that point on.
true.
So it's a
Yeah.
continuity from whenever Pointy actually
Yeah.
finally gets sober.
Yeah, it's like a Krabappel marrying Flanders.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, I forgot Flanders' wife
Wait,
perished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
watched
that's
it
what I was trying to figure
Season
out.
20 it gets weird, bro.
Yeah.
Mad, eh? We covered a lot of the Maud scenes last week. It was fucking a good time. Yeah, fuck, we're doing a show.
Yeah, we are
We've
too.
actually gone so far off track. I just wanted to put the point in the helicopter scene. I just want to check where we're flying level and flat or whatever. And he's like, yeah.
We'll get ourselves out of this tailspin. Check the black box is recording.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And you're good to go.
My next note is: did Bart learn to eat my shorts from Homer?
Oh, yeah, he says that to
Bernsey.
Bernsey.
When
yeah.
Barney's picked him up and he's driving and he realizes that, Burnsy's sitting on the bench and he doubles back to say something to him, he tells Burns to eat his shorts.
Yeah.
And I don't think Bart has said that
He
at
hasn't.
this point in time. So did Bart learn that from Homer?
Yeah, he must have.
Yeah.
Inadvertently.
I'd say so.
That's mad.
Which is weird because I've never seen Homer wear shorts.
I've never heard him say it before, though. Really, I've only ever heard it as Bart's like catchphrase, but
Yeah.
I don't think Homer's ever really said it. To
No.
be honest.
Maybe they looked at it after that and thought it just doesn't fit
Bit
a
childish.
36-year-old man saying it. Maybe it makes sense for a 10-year-old boy to say it.
Yeah. And like eat my pants didn't really ring as well as eat my
Doesn't
shorts.
ring the same, yeah.
Yeah, so Barney bails him out of jail, but the funny thing is when he calls Barney, Barney's like, "Oh, come to the side of the window, Homer. Hey, Homer."
It's
And
just
they're,
like, turn around.
across from each other.
Hey, neighbor.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say another thing when they go to the bar. Like, obviously, it's like all familiar faces in the bar, but Lenny and Carl aren't there. at all. Yeah,
I-
and they're a staple in the bar for like later on in.
Yeah,
Didn't make a note of it, but noticed it because, I sort of found it a little bit weird at the start, but then sort of realized, going back to the first episode that we did last week, they're sort of really only they're not even really portrayed as his friends yet. Because when Homer comes into there's that short scene in the break room before Burns calls him into his office. Lenny doesn't even call him Homer. He calls him Simpson. He calls him like by his last name. So it's like they're not even on like friendly terms. They're just like work colleagues kind of thing.
Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. And then they get written into like more of
A friendly role.
yeah, yeah, okay.
It's like
Because I noticed like obviously there's like the few I don't even know their names to be honest. Guys in the bar.
Sam the Barfly is the only other notable.
I think one of the other guys'
Guy in
names is
orange.
Larry or something like that.
Yeah.
Also a Barfly.
Yes.
Like the trucker hat guy and the other guy with like the wispy non-hair with the orange jacket.
Larry and Sam.
Larry,
Yeah.
Larry's the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the only ones I recognize.
But there's like one or two other guys there that are just like random character models that I've never seen before.
yeah, they're just old school bar dudes.
And one of them has like a voice line and shit as well because he walks past him. He's like, yeah, you better be dying. After
Yeah,
he
when
kisses him or
starts
something.
kissing
Yeah.
him, I love you. I think he says his name too. He says a name. It's a fucking whatever name he does because
Damn.
before he kisses him, and he's like, "Yeah, you better be dying."
Yeah.
I don't even remember that scene.
My next note is he spelled intimate wrong.
Yeah.
Did anyone notice that?
He's got to be, Homer wants to be intimate with Marge. That's the last thing on his bucket list.
How's he spell it? Doing
He spells
like
it without
too
the
many
E at the
eyes.
end.
Yeah.
intimate.
So it's
Yeah,
just
intimate.
intimate.
Yeah, intimate. Yeah, it's all eyes. That's
Yeah.
the vowels.
Yeah, right.
I thought it was fucking funny as when Homer tries to call home from the bar to like let them know where he is. Bart's calling Moe's
Yeah.
to
That's
make
right.
a prank call.
So it's
Yes.
engaged.
That's a good thing never gets through. Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Seymour asses.
Seymour butts, yeah.
That's obviously not the first prank call because this is way too far in.
Yeah, they've done a couple
No.
up to this point.
Mo in a fucking.
Hasn't been heaps,
pink
but there's been a
apron would
couple.
have
Yeah.
Frank, yeah.
There was
black
definitely
hair.
one in season 1.
Yeah, because Pink Apron Mo does the fucking
Mm.
I was just gonna say the fade to black commercials. You guys have spoken about it before.
Yeah.
How they just like don't work. But I was like, obviously they're like breaks for like ads for like
Yeah.
like network television.
They're
So,
written in on purpose because
yeah, that's how they cut scene because it's like put your ads here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just thought like I don't know what I wrote. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm illiterate.
Cut. You're cut to yeah.
We'll cut this part out.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we never did.
So I think that's like, they've left the bar and Barney's car is broken down, so he decides to just run home.
Yeah.
And he does that thing where he bangs on the window, which is the reference we spoke about before. Are all the kids asleep by that point in time?
No, because he says goodnight to them all.
Yeah.
They were sleeping, but my favorite part, I don't know what he says
With
to
Bart?
Lisa. Yeah, he's like, goodbye, Bart. I like your sheets. So good.
There is no redeeming qualities to his son.
I think the best context to put that in is he says like a nice message to everyone when he's putting them to sleep.
Yeah.
Like he says something to Maggie at first and then to Lisa and then gets to Bart and says that. And it's like, that,
Like your sheets.
Yeah.
that joke comes up again when Marge is trying to pay Bart a compliment in an episode and she's like, I like Bart's. I like Bart.
Yeah.
There's no redeeming qualities about him to like remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like your sheets.
It's like he's never been in his son's room or like knows anything about him
Literally has nothing good to say about his son. Not
Yeah.
one thing.
It's fucking great.
on his deathbed.
So like the next 2 or 3 minutes are relatively like kind of somber. Like he goes in and Marge reads a poem to him.
Yep.
And they snuggle for the last time, or what
Get
they think
busy.
is yeah. Former President Ike Eisenhower.
Let's get busy.
So
Do they snuggle?
yes,
Yeah.
they do, because Marge is like asleep and he sneaks out of bed and goes downstairs and puts on
The book on tape.
he goes to open the Bible because he thinks it's the Bible,
Yeah.
and he's like, on tape, and he's like, read by Larry King.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, it's funny because obviously, like, Homer's the one. obviously, like it's the Sabbath one where he doesn't go to church and stuff like that. He's the one that's always against it.
Yes.
He turns to religion in his time of death.
Yeah,
the most
true.
half-assed Homer way ever.
Yeah. Book on tape.
Yeah.
Also another dead celebrity.
And a good
King.
note about that is that voice role of Larry King was offered to William Shatner at first.
True. That's cool.
Who did it?
Larry King.
Why the fuck did they offer the bit of Larry King to William Shatner before Larry King?
No, it would have been like the Bible on tape by William Shatner.
Oh, okay. I get what you mean. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Strange, though.
I think because like the writer of this episode knew people from the Star Trek team and in turn wanted to offer to William Shatner first to see if they could get that. But he
Okay.
turned it down.
Probably funnier, too.
Yeah.
Like, way funnier gay. Like, the Star... Is it Star Trek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I like the Larry King part about it because after Homer's fallen asleep and he just starts rambling about how he thinks the Spurs are good to win the NBA championship
true.
this year.
Yeah, that's something else here in my note as well. So as Homer awaits his death, he listens to Larry King read the Bible on tape. King says he thinks the San Antonio Spurs will win the NBA title that year. In real life, the Chicago Bulls would win their first of 6 titles in 1991.
True.
Oh,
So that's like the Michael Jordan
oh
run.
damn.
Yeah.
That was the start of that shit.
Is sorry, what year was it they started winning?
91.
91, yeah.
Oh,
so
so it's way
Bulls
after.
won 91, 92, 93. Jordan went away 94. He came back halfway through the 95th season, which
didn't he
they
play
ended up
golf?
losing in the finals, and then they won
Didn't Michael Jordan
96,
play
97, 98.
Yeah,
never got
yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah,
'Cause
you
it
watched
was-
The Last Dance, haven't you?
Yeah, because it was like that period where he went and played baseball
prestige
and
private country club.
played on the
Two different
Olympics.
conversations
Yeah.
in the microphones.
Hello.
We're just talking about Michael Jordan being really into golf, and he has a really prestige country club called the Grove.
He has a country club?
Owns a golf course.
That does not surprise me now that I say it. Like,
Yeah.
All old.
Super exclusive.
Yeah, all older men get into golf at some point.
oh, dude, he's one of the
Fuck
richest
you, I
men on the
love golf.
fucking
So
planet.
do I. I was referencing myself as being older.
Had 5 birdies today.
Nice.
Could have had 7, but can't putt.
I sunk 2 15-foot putts when I played with Froomey the other day.
Oh man.
Thank you. And I got a birdie on one of the holes.
Yes, dude. That's sick.
Thank you.
Anyway.
All right.
Through line to real life.
So there's not really much else to speak about here. He kind of listens to the book on tape and falls asleep. And he starts like fast forwarding through a bit because he's just like, and Isaac beget Abraham, and fucking he's trying to fast forward through all of that and then finds a bit that he's happy with, falls back asleep. Marge wakes up in the morning and realizes he's not there and runs downstairs and then touches his drool and realizes it's warm
Yep.
and then wakes him up.
Yep. And they're all like celebrating together.
Yes.
Happy as.
Yeah.
And then Homer.
Well, they're not all celebrating together because at no point in time did he actually tell the kids that he was going to die.
Mm.
So throughout this entire experience, the kids were completely shielded from it.
Yeah, like when they're waiting for dinner and she's
Yeah.
like, we just want to hang out with your father.
Because we
Why?
love him, and they're just like,
What's the real reason?
yeah.
And then it sort of cuts to another scene from there. So I think it's implied that Marge has told the kids what's happening. That's
Oh,
why it's
okay.
never actually discussed.
Interesting.
Maybe it was like too deep of a conversation to have for a kids show.
Yeah, I don't know though, because when he's like telling her to do, like when he goes to see Bart, that's after, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he wants to and then he wants to spank him and like Lisa, like they don't understand why
Yeah.
the fuck they want it to. Maybe they actually didn't have the conversation. Maybe it just, because it only lapses over, and then from that dinner scene, I'm pretty sure he comes home and grabs Marge and runs straight upstairs, and the kids are just like, what the hell?
Yeah. Yeah. Kisses them all on the head and goes upstairs.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the last scene of the episode is fucking good as well. Like, Homer proclaims that he's going to live life to its fullest after this.
and then the
there's-
credits.
Full like 45 seconds of him just sitting on the couch eating pork rinds. Light.
Yeah. And then the funniest thing as well is the first scene of the season 11 episode is Homer sitting on the couch eating potato chips, drinking beer.
Sure.
So
Cool.
through line straight to the next step.
Yeah, pretty much constant through line for most episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but good. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else for this ep that we...
I was just gonna say it's another Simpsons episode, kind of early on, where they're like attack a pretty dark kind of
Yep.
moral thing. Someone finding out they're dying. Obviously, it's poison, but they're like having the 24 hours to live, and it's a pretty dark kind of topic. Again,
Yep.
death.
Yep.
Which they hit all the time, but in a different way.
Yep. They did cover that suicide episode in season 1.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt there's a lot of dark kind of moral episodes early on.
Yeah, heavier themes that they don't tend to cover later
Yeah,
on.
Yeah, I think they're really showcasing like human emotion for these first couple of seasons to like bring the viewer in and keep them there because they can all resonate with some aspect of it.
yeah. I mean, all in all, I'm just gonna rate the episode. Don't know.
Yeah.
You guys don't do a rating system, but I feel like it's a little bit of a dud in the sense of like humor, but like a good like character building. Like,
Yep.
classic Simpsons, easy to watch, funny guys, good storyline. But
Yep.
I thought it was a little bit of a dud, to be honest.
Funny that you mention a rating system, and because me and Ned discussed that recently. Of
Yeah, we did.
giving something like an A to an F type thing.
Yeah, I reckon we do it 3 out of 5 coffees.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5 fugus out of 4.
That's pretty generous, yeah.
Yeah.
Similar fraction.
I don't know. I reckon 3 back seats of a car.
Out of 5 Japanese men.
Yeah. Oh no.
He dropped his cord.
Get him.
He's ragging on your cord.
He's turning left.
Well, yours isn't a belt. Yours is just a piece of auxiliary cord.
Help!
Can't you read? Call the police.
You know what? I'll give it a 1 Bible on tape out of 2.
Perfect.
The episode's just like too heavy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think it doesn't match the tone that The Simpsons is like really known for. And I think it's just like them being a bit more experimental and sort of trying to stick with more of the like the sitcom family trope
Well, it's like even the episode before.
early on.
Oh, you
Yeah.
go, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I feel like a lot of the earlier episodes, I feel like are more that vibe until we get a bit more established, like season 10s and stuff.
There was a lot of those episodes in season 1, but even the episode like before it, if you go back to last week with Bart getting hit by a car, like that's a heavy enough theme as it is, and like he gets hit by a car and then he's okay, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, that could like in any like if you were to put that in the context of some other show, that would be like an entire 3-episode arc of somebody getting hit by a car and recovering from it or something like that.
I was thinking this, where it's like, Homer having to like, come to terms with his more like mortality and like do a bucket list and all that sort of stuff. It's like very grim. Like it's super, super grim for The Simpsons.
Being a fictitious character as well, like that's something that you don't attribute to that.
No, not at all.
I think the thing that encapsulates that most in the episode is the part where he makes a
burlap.
video for Maggie.
Yeah.
He makes a video for his daughter who doesn't understand him talking yet, so therefore will never understand.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
It's heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
And she never grows up.
No.
And he takes a phone call and scratches his ass in the middle of it. But,
Millhouse.
yeah. No, that is pretty dark. I did write a point about it, but
Yeah.
just about it being dark, but it was something else. But I don't think I'll read it.
There's even like that episode in season 1 where like Lisa tries to kill herself.
No, it's Homer.
Yeah, that's Homer. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like,
Suicide ep.
what the fuck?
Literally, like he's standing on the edge of a fucking bridge with a rock tied to his legs. It's like, that's pretty fucking dark.
Yeah.
To be on at 6 p.m. at night.
Yeah,
The
well, I was
old
going to
people
say...
laughing at him about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, like, a lot of these earlier ones, I wonder if they're, like, trying to, like, I don't know, cartoons in that era where they're, like, frowned upon by, like, parents and they wanted, to try and... I know it's dark, but it's kind of, like, got some nice stuff. So, like, I wrote a point, like, it's a very dark theme, but it's, like, is doing all these things, like, that he probably should do anyway, but they're, like, a really nice thing to do. Like, obviously, write the list, spend time with his family. He's doing all these, like, really valuable, like, wholesome things.
Yep.
Even though it's a really dark theme. Is that like would parents in the 90s fucking love that shit because it's like, it's like a nice show, even though cartoons at prime time are probably like
Yeah.
not their favorite thing.
I think it was their way of trying to appease to an older audience without really understanding what kind of older audience they were trying to appease to. So they spent those first couple of seasons trying to give these deeper themes to a show that had childish, like, like aspects to it, so they could try and appeal to not only like the children that they were obviously trying to appeal to, but adults as well. But then they sort of realized after a period of time that they didn't have to have these deeper themes and try and bring in these deeper thinkers per se, that they really just needed to make more crass adult level jokes within their humor, so that there was humor that appealed to both sides of it, as opposed to like trying to make the kids laugh but the adults think.
Yeah, and like a deeper joke for the adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
and then,
maybe they just came to a conclusion at some point in time. It's like, maybe this doesn't need to be an after school special every single episode where there's a message coming out of it kind of thing. Maybe this just needs to be 20 minutes of enjoyment.
It just needs to be haha for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's literally all it needed to be.
I'm keen to get to the point where it does change from that dynamic of
I
like
feel
telling a story and rounding it out at the end to just ending an episode where they want to end an episode.
I feel like it's
regardless.
relatively from like season 3, season 4, like onwards is where they really start to do that.
they have a storyline, but that's not the bulk of the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is like, some form of vague message attached to things, but it's not them like cramming it down your throats. It more becomes a thing of like, if you want to take this from it, here it is.
Yeah.
Also, like a way like shallower message, like not a deep message.
No.
The message might be like pretty simple.
Yeah. Love thy neighbor.
Yeah, love thy neighbor. Pay a
Very
bit more
simple.
attention in school, as opposed to like, don't kill yourself. You've got a family.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
all the things you do before you might die when you find out you got 22 hours to live.
Yeah.
Correct.
You guys got anything else?
No, I feel like that's pretty good.
Yeah. We've covered.
Why did Mr. Smith kill everybody?
It was symbolism. He was mad. But this was going to be the studio's prestige picture, like Howard's End or Sophie's Choice. Ugh, those movies suck. I only saw them to get Marge into the sack. P.S. Mission accomplished. But we've already bought 5 Golden Globe Awards.
I don't make movies to win awards, especially now that I have 2 Oscars.
Claps going here.
Alrighty. Season 11, episode 1.
Correct.
Nailed it.
Signifying the start of a new season.
Yes, we are.
Titled Beyond Blunderdome, which is like a parody of some Mel Gibson movie.
Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah, Mad Max.
Yeah. I haven't watched any of those. Synopsis reads, after destroying an electric car in a test run, the Simpsons are given free tickets to Mel Gibson's new film, a remake of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Mel Gibson, however, laments his current role without violence. What are you laughing at? And wants someone to give him criticism. When Homer sees Mel talking with Marge, he gives Mel a brutal review, leading Mel to believe that Homer is the only man brave enough to give suggestions. As a result, he hires him to create a better ending. However, when the ending proves to be too controversial, Mel and Homer end up on the run from the studio executives with the film.
They sure do. My first note is you stole my note, which is the last 2 scenes of Homer eating alone on the couch.
Yeah.
Oh, we took that before.
Yes. Yes, we did.
Got there just before you.
So
through lining your own episode.
yes.
Yeah.
So the first scene he's watching that that was you. I was looking at you. That's usually you. He's watching the Electoris advertisement, which is just like all this smog in a playground and stuff like that. Kid tries to climb the ladder and he just like falls down from asphyxiation. And the electric car drives all the way through and says something, right at the end says something about like, come down and do a test drive now and get a free gift. And Homer's like crying and he goes, my children deserve to see me get a free gift.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
And then, when he gets to the car dealership, she said, the lady there selling the cars says something about they're good for the environment. And Homer says, what kind of men?
Yeah. Before that, he's like trying to like stifle laughing in her face. It's like, I really care about the environment. Something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a relatively quick scene. Like, there's not even like much footage of them driving around before they end up just driving straight into the harbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they pretty much get into it and head straight down the road into the harbour.
Lisa sort of warns him about the upcoming sort of bridge and the water that's coming up, and he says, relax, we're in an electric car.
The car that's like saving the environment goes through the water and literally electrocutes most of the environment.
Dolphins, turtles, fish, mermaids, and 2 scuba divers.
Hi, girls.
Yeah, it kills them. Then he drives it back. I can't remember what he says. He drives it back out.
Oh,
and
it likes the salt water.
yeah, and then it just like.
Well, and then when he pulls back up to the dealership, he's like, "Your car doesn't meet my economic, was it environmental needs or something like that? My environmental concerns. Can I have my free gift now?"
Yeah, here you go. Drives off, and then the car's there in the background, like on fire still.
Help,
Help,
help.
It burns. From like my memory as a kid, that car like rusted over as it came out of the water, but that didn't actually happen. So that must be something else that's triggering my memory at some point in the series. Something rusts over really quick.
Yeah, I feel like there's another, whatever it is, something that's supposed to be like rust proof or whatever proof in an episode.
Yeah, okay.
As they like pull out, just disintegrates.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know where it's from, but
Is it the Canyonero?
Maybe. I think
Could
that's that's pretty fucking good though. That car.
That is Gil talking about like the weatherproofing that's on. He's like, rain, that'll strip it right off.
Close the deal. Close the deal.
Yeah.
Those ColecoVisions will rust up on you like that when he's selling the computers.
Maybe that's it.
That could be it.
No, but I vaguely remember like exactly what you're talking about. Like something comes out in the rain and it like rusts over.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't even know it's from The Simpsons, to be honest.
Got to be.
I mean, it's from The Simpsons or like Futurama or something.
Something like that. It has to be something along those lines.
Yeah.
But anyway, we get on to the next scene where Homer and Marge are sitting in bed and they sort of do that weird back and forth. Have you got it written down?
I've got Marge's line. So, like, they're trying to get intimate after the showing of the movie, I assume.
Oh, I was going to say the cutscene when I thought it was really smart when they're like, "Oh, we didn't open the envelope. That seems like something we would have done as soon as we left the car yard."
Yeah.
Well, we haven't. It's here in it. We open it now. I think that's
okay.
Clever. Yeah, real clever because obviously answers the question why the fuck they didn't open it straight away.
Yeah, that's true. And like they sort of cut from being at the car yard to just being at home. So they had to sort of cover their asses to where they were in between and what happened.
Yes.
And yeah, it goes to Marge and Homer in bed. And then Homer asks her, "Are you thinking about me?" Because she's got onto something to do with Mel Gibson. And then she says, "Oh, sure, homie. Aren't you thinking about me?" "I am now."
Well, before that, when she like gets all excited about the fact that they're going to a test screening of a Mel Gibson movie, and he says something about like, "I don't know whether it's such a big deal," and she says, "Were you?" Hang on.
Mel Gibson helps run the family home. He like does this. He goes to like church every Sunday or something.
No, not even that. Where she's speaking about. Well, she's just speaking about Mel Gibson, and then Homer says like, "Oh, he's just a regular guy. He's just like me or Lenny." And then Marge says like, "Were you or Lenny ever named sexiest man on the planet twice?"
I don't know about Lenny.
Not sure about Lenny. My next note is just, I wonder if this episode was before Mel Gibson's drunken phone tirade.
True.
100% it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he was sort of disgraced after that blunder.
Yeah. The only thing I've seen him in since that is Daddy's Home.
Oh, he's been in a few. He did a really good movie. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm going to have to look it up.
While you're looking it up,
Yeah.
I was just going to bring up, when was the Hollywood Freaks Kim Basinger Mel Gibson episode?
We've
not
covered
Mel.
that.
It's not Mel Gibson.
Alec
it's
Baldwin.
Alec
Alec
Baldwin.
Oh, then there we go. They fucking...
That's one of the first
Delete
episodes of
these
season 7.
Because I was like, fucking hell, he meets Mel Gibson again. Like, this guy's like a... Yeah, okay. Alec Baldwin. Yeah, same.
Yep.
Character models look similar enough.
Yeah, and fucking... Yeah, they're both fucking whatever.
Yes.
They're both snoozers, to be honest.
Why has Mel Gibson got so many movies?
I don't know.
Pretty big, kind of big deal.
I don't think it's going to have on his IMDb like a section where it's just like, here's like the before drunken tirade and before and after drunken tirade.
That's all right. I'll get to the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, you should just categorize a pre-anti-Semitic tirade.
Here it is. I think it might have been after. It was called Bloodfather.
Sounds grim, but yeah. Go on.
So
It's a children's movie.
God, the plot's way too big. I can't remember it, but it was good. Just take my word for it. The budget was 15 million. The box office got to 6.9 million.
Rough.
So yeah, flopped. But
I'd take it.
So it wasn't good.
I liked it.
It's the kind I like.
It's the kind I like.
Anyway,
I forgot we had that.
After that note of Homer and Marge being in bed, my next thing is Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. The film Mel Gibson is remaking. An earlier episode references Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington.
Yeah.
So they couldn't use that particular title for this episode because it had already been done. That's why they chose Beyond Blunderdome.
Well, that seems like a strange point to make to me, considering the last episode last week that we covered is literally called Bart Gets a Z. One of the episodes that we covered a couple of weeks ago is one of the first episodes, Bart Gets an F. So it's like, if you're just going to do that, like, why not just make like an homage to your own episode kind of thing?
Yeah, true. That makes sense.
It would.
Yeah.
When he's going to get 5 for that blunder.
I don't care.
And then I think it goes on to Mel Gibson making fun of John Travolta immediately. I can't remember the context of the.
He says
Because going to help him move.
the studio executives are confused as to how he got there, and he's like, John Travolta flew me in his jet, and he's like, I'm now going to help him move next week. He deliberately waited until we were up in the air to ask me.
That's right. Yeah.
I feel like it's funny because they kind of. It's like Happy Days. Is John Travolta here? Does he do Happy Days?
No.
Oh, who the fuck's that guy? Oh,
You're
that's thinking of... Yeah, true. They're all the same. Same Mel Gibson, all the same.
John Travolta's Grease.
And the rest. Anyway. Well, he kind of has that fucking Fonzo voice. That's the guy, isn't it?
Oh, Fonzie.
Yeah. He
Fonzo.
Fonzo.
I have a flower for ooh.
Just really robotic.
No, but like the John Travolta when he's in the plane, he's got that like, you fucking help me move. Yeah, that.
You're thinking of, I get what you mean.
Have that very like vibe.
Can help me move.
Yeah. Like the Boston type accent of some sort.
New York. Yeah.
What?
Hey, I'm walking.
He's Italian, isn't he?
Yeah.
Travolta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very like New York Italian.
Yeah, that very.
Hey, I'm walking here. Kind of shit.
I feel like whenever he gets parodied, it's just the same voice. He's just like, hey, oh.
Yeah.
I think because there's like a Family Guy bit where they parody him as well, where it's like implying that he's gay. Where it's like, it's like when John Travolta got married to, I can't even fucking remember who he's getting married to. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna love her. I'm gonna kiss her penis.
That's right.
I mean, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, that's right. The priest like shakes his head and he was like, I mean, no.
We're good Fonzie vibes.
My next note is hi everybody, Gus. Hi, Mr. Gibson. Oh yeah.
Hi, Mr.
So
Gibson.
like they've seen like the screen test and everything like that. Everybody seems to be happy with it. And Mel Gibson's trying to sneak out the fire door. He tries to sneak out a door. Turns out to be the fire door. And then Wiggum notices him and he's like, oh, hey, it's Mel Gibson. Everybody rush over there.
Yeah. The one person that would probably like
I was about to say,
maintain a crowd.
Yeah.
You would think so.
The one person in the whole of Springfield that should be doing crowd control.
Yeah.
It's like, let's rush him.
Which he also doesn't do in the episode where Krusty crashes his plane into the mountain and then says, okay, show's over, people. Nothing to see. Oh my God, a horrible plane crash. Quick, everybody crowd around. Come on, don't be shy.
Shy?
My note for that particular scene, just before they introduce Mel Gibson, is there's a poster in the background for McBain, but it's spelt incorrectly. It's like McBain, for what I know, is McBain. This one is BANE.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Oh, McBain has an I in it?
It does. It's usually spelled like
vein. Bane. VAIN. BAIN.
Yes.
Vein. Oh, vein. Different vein.
Yeah. I shouldn't have used that as a reference.
Yeah.
That wasn't my first choice.
I wonder whether the weather will improve today.
I was actually here
And
to
a
make
hot
it.
plate.
And a hot plate.
I was actually here to make a different reference.
Don't look in that car.
And yeah, that's when Mel Gibson gets mobbed by the crowd, and he says, "Hi, everybody."
Pants
Silence
around
for a little bit.
Hi, Mr. Gibson.
Oh, that was such a good portraying of character back to Dr. Nick.
Yeah, it's like it's Dr. Neat doing a callback to himself.
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, really good.
Callback Inception.
And then my next note is one of the best scenes of the episode is when Mel Gibson rocks up to the
Turns
Simpsons
up at the
house. So essentially after the scene where he gets mobbed, he's reading all the reviews on the plane, and they can't be all good.
Every single one of them is positive except for Homer's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I give it 4 hours. Yeah.
And then there was like a severe lack of violence and like shooting and stuff like that, which is obviously Homer's.
Just
Hey,
dumb.
Gibson, got a pen?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Puts it in his pocket.
Yeah.
And then tells him when they go on the plane, he's like, go to 743 Evergreen Terrace. And he's like, oh, jeez.
Gonna help me
John
move.
Travolta's just walked over. Yeah, it's so good. Just
And then they-
belittling him to fly him around as like a fucking
turn this
chauffeur.
plane
Yeah.
around.
Then they just land a plane in the middle of a street.
Yeah. Door march. The whole house shakes.
Which is also a recurring joke as well that I've started to notice of just door Marge kind of thing. Like every time the door knocks, he'll generally just say Marge, get the door,
Yeah.
or something to that effect. It might not be exactly worded that way every single time, but he usually always asks Marge to get the door.
Usually after something outlandish happens.
Yes.
Like the fucking, I don't know, explosion happens outside. He's like, that's the door march. Yeah.
One that I can think of is when Homer's sick on the lounge and Lisa's watching TV with him, and it's McGruff the crime dog. Quiet, Lisa, the dog is barking. One of the best.
So yeah, Mel Gibson turns up at the house and he's just like, I'm looking for Homer Simpson.
Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, see this ring? I own her and she's property of mine, or about Marge. And he's like, no, I want you to help me with a movie. And then he starts fully flips, goes from tough guy to full swooning on him. Don't say that in front of me.
It's Mel Gibson.
Yeah. Don't sell your husband short, Mrs. Simpson. She always does that.
But the note that I have is just the little back and forth between Bart and Lisa. Just before, as Mel Gibson gets to the door, and Homer, I can't remember what Homer says when he walks around the corner, but Bart's just pound him, Dad. Lisa's like, don't do that. And she's like, quiet, Dad's gonna get beat up by Mel Gibson. Knock his teeth out, Homer. Just constantly willing his father to get maimed.
Yeah. And knowingly does it. Homer has no awareness whatsoever.
Yes,
that
he
what might happen.
It's one of those things that it's quite well established that Homer is the dumbest member of the family, but Bart's the only one that ever really takes advantage of it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Pushes them, whereas Lisa's probably smarter and
Everybody else sort of looks down on him for it, whereas Bart's dumb enough to be well, this is now my this is now the butt of my joke at all points in time, when he writes shit on the back of his head, or he staples something to the back of his head at some point, doesn't he?
Puts a pin of something in the back of Homer's head, takes the pin out to take the note and puts the pin back.
That's right.
Yeah. And I was just wondering about when Mel Gibson's doing woe is me, first world problems, he's like, yeah, I speed. Police won't give me a ticket. I don't pay my taxes. The IRS pays them for me.
Oh, you poor man.
Yeah. Oh, you poor Mel.
Just wants to be treated like everyone else. Is above the law.
My next note is just Godfather 3 screenshot, and I can't remember what the fuck that's in reference to.
That was the studio execs saying something about the final cut of Mel's movie.
Okay, so I'm going too far.
than
I'm going too far
Godfather
ahead
3,
then.
yeah.
We'll get there. So they've gone to Hollywood and landed. And did you notice the sign out the front of the studio? says like no artistic integrity past this point.
Oh, true. No.
Then they're like driving through and like Homer comments on like the van or something like that. And Marge like points and she's like, oh, look, they're like talking about how everything's being shot. Robert Downey Jr. is having a shootout with the police. And Bart's like, I don't see any cameras.
Yeah. I got a note on that. So Marge notices Robert Downey Jr. shooting at the police and thinking he's filming a new action movie before Bart points out that he doesn't see any cameras, alluding to how at the time the episode was made, Downey was repeatedly in trouble with the law. Sure. This was like, between like 2000 and probably 2008 when he started in Iron Man, he was like in that part of his career where he was into drugs and drinking heavily.
Fuck yeah.
I like that.
It's the kind I like.
Yeah.
And then immediately after that Robert Downey Jr. bit, the tour guide points out something about Hugh Grant as well. This was Hugh Grant's scene in okay. So there was a stab at Hugh Grant. It was like, this is where Hugh Grant filmed this movie, and Marge was like, ew. And then they said the movie, it was the film 9 months. Ew.
Oh, yeah.
Like an even bigger groan. So Marge also briefly expresses disgust when the tour guide mentions an infamous spot involving Hugh Grant prior to her making clear she's referring to the film of 9 months, indirectly referencing Grant's scandal involving Divine Brown at Sunset Boulevard. I didn't look into what happened there, but...
The fuck does that mean?
Okay.
Keegan?
Do you know any Hugh Grant references? Oh.
Oh, jeez.
So after that, I think they go through like there's like a little bit of a montage of where Homer's trying to like tell him how to make the movie better, and
I was just gonna say I like the part when like they go and they send him away. They're going into the studio to like do the first edit, and he's like, "I'm gonna be a while." Mel's movie really stinks. It's just so good.
Like loud enough for Mel to hear it.
Then he's talking about
His
putting
face
in,
is like,
Yeah.
he's talking about putting in the dog with the shifty eyes.
oh no, if little dog looks like he's up to something. Put him in those shifty eyes.
He's got to put his eyes like this.
Gotta move it in fast motion. Everyone loves that stuff. It'd be really funny. No. Then you never see him with all you try on funny hats.
Just terrible ideas for any movie.
I don't think it's gonna work, Homer.
So does it go straight from there to them doing like the reveal of their like finale?
Yeah, pretty much.
Not much in between.
I don't think there is anyway.
Just quickly, I just looked up the Hugh Grant thing. So apparently he was caught receiving oral from this actress, Divine Brown, on Hollywood, like on Sunset Boulevard in a car.
Nice.
Oh, sick. That's in a car. It's fine.
Yeah.
Is it Australian, isn't he, Hugh Grant?
Well, like we were just discussing
British.
earlier.
He's
Why
British.
is that a problem?
Hugh
Yeah.
Grant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like a Kiwi. One of those like Kiwis that he claimed as her own, which is
Hugh Grant.
Plenty of them, isn't he?
He's
English.
English.
Oh, fuck. Who's the other guy? Someone.
You're thinking of like Carl Urban
Carl Urban. Keith
or like Russell Crowe.
No, I thought fucking what? Maybe it's there's a show he does. It's a boy from Oz. Yeah, is he just the actor in that?
Hugh Jackman?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
The Wolverine.
all hues, man. They're all different shades of hue. Yeah.
One of two hues. I took a stab.
Hugh Grant is Wolverine.
True. Oh, yeah, true. Hugh Grant, is he in Love Actually?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I like Hugh Grant. What a mad British man.
Wait, is he in Love Actually?
Yeah. He's one of the main parts in
Yes.
Love
Yeah.
Actually.
I'm all
Apart from,
over it. What do
I
you
thought
want?
you were thinking of Bridget Jones's Diary.
he's also in
He's
that.
also
He's
in
in
that.
that.
He is also in that,
Yeah.
but I thought that's what you were thinking of.
I'm just bluffing, guys. I know who he is.
Was
I
like
know
Mad Dog
Hughes.
just getting Roadhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sick.
Oh, that was great. So they go to show the finale or the new finale that they've done to the studio executives, and it's just completely full of violence as opposed to what it was before. And one of the studio executives compares it to being as bad as Godfather 3.
And then, someone's like, whoa, let's not go that far.
Yeah, Mel says, let's not go that far. So I have a screenshot for this, which is just a couple of points, because I've heard this reference so many fucking times that I felt like I needed to look into it.
Movie
So
is fucking awful.
The Godfather Part 3 has been criticized for a number
take
of
your word for
reasons, including the plot. The film's plot is convoluted and includes political intrigue, Vatican conspiracies, and romantic subplots. Some say the plot feels more like an epilogue than a full movie. The film lacks a clear narrative structure and compelling arcs of the first two films.
It's the kind I like.
Some say the film focuses too much on Al Pacino and that Sofia Coppola's performance as Mary is stilted. And there's just bunch of other notes here, but it's just like, yeah, I've never watched any of the Godfather movies, so would you
I see. Then everything is wrapped up in a neat little package.
I wanted to like. I can't even. I got no headphones. I'm missing out.
Going in blind.
Oh fuck.
Like Godfather 1 and 2 are like considered some of the best movies ever made, and I'd happily agree with that opinion. The Godfather 3 is a fucking disjointed, like confusing mess.
Would you say it's like the first cash grab?
I say it's like completely fucking unnecessary. It was made like fucking 20 years after the original 2.
Cash grab then, probably pretty much. What time? Like what? Sorry, I have no idea. What era did Godfather original come out?
Like 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 80s or like quick succession for Godfather 2?
I think so. It's like a couple of years gap.
I mean, it's iconic as shit. I've never seen it. I've a terrible fucking history with iconic movies, but yeah.
You name it, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, you like that one? Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, when they back to the Simpsons, they show the alternate ending to all the studio execs, and one of my favorite scenes that always comes up in my memory is Mel Gibson grabbing the fire extinguisher and like throwing it at the judge as he's beating down the gavel.
Yeah.
And it explodes.
Yeah.
And he's just so irrelevant.
Cuts the president's head off.
Yeah.
You cut off the president's head. Yeah, just fucking horrified.
And yeah, what's it called when you fucking through you?
Decapitate.
No, the other one.
Impale.
Yeah, impales a fucking senator
on
with
a flag
fucking
post.
American flag. And it's like, like full American vibe, like
Yeah.
slapping inside the building.
It's something that's probably happened in so many movies.
Oh,
Like
He's doing like Three Stooges gags, like fucking. Then running around in the circle on the table,
like
shooting the gun.
style with the fucking gun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And then he's got like his like whatever badge in his hand at the end, and he closes his hand over it, and it says the
Opens
end.
up to the end to imply that there's going to be a sequel, but there's really not.
Yeah.
So do they immediately like just like steal the film and like run away after that? I'm pretty sure they're on the run
I think
after
the
that.
execs are like, fuck this, want to destroy the new version because it's no good, and then they distract them with something stupid outside.
Yeah.
And
There's like a
flog it, yeah.
there's like a BMW being
Towed away. Yeah.
And they all look outside. There was something in that dialogue as well that goes along the lines of we've already bought 5 Grammys.
Yeah,
Like,
I've got that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't make movies to win awards since I've got my 2 Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got 2 Oscars already. Yeah. We've already bought 5 Golden Globe Awards.
Yeah.
And then they say something about like nobody cares about Golden Globes.
Yeah. And which we've had a discussion on previously on the podcast about what the awards mean and what they're exactly for, and like Grammys are completely disregarded. I think it's like a music award.
Yeah, Grammys is a music award no one cares about.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, it's
Like-
a Grammy.
Yeah. Throws it off the balcony.
yeah.
Don't throw your trash down here.
Yeah.
Throws it back at him.
I mean, what is it? The B Sharps, they got a Grammy now.
Yeah, that's the episode. That's the line we're
Yeah.
referencing.
Yeah. Yeah, my next note is just like the golf cart runs over a landmine.
Yeah, they're driving through like the movie set. Yeah.
Yeah, but he
McBain's
hits the
movie. You might have a few notes in between there.
Well, I was just gonna say that when they a billboard gag, basically, when they get blown off fucking the thing, the billboard is actually like something about a new mama, like a pregnancy billboard, and they like literally come out in the golf cart like perfectly between her legs, where like they're being birthed.
Come
through
out the
billboard.
birth hole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the birth hole.
As it
What
likes
do
to
you
be
call
called.
it?
Oh my god, the fucking birth hole. Oh shit.
But then like immediately after that, they're
Bloody dumb, Mr.
a French
Vagina.
man.
What do you call it? A birth hole. Oh my god.
they're flipping through the air immediately after that. The security guard's like, "No, Mr. Gibson," and he's like, "No, Gus."
Yeah. Still able to just have a fluent conversation whilst in midair in
While
chaos.
forward flipping in a golf cart.
I think not long after this, Homer says a really good, not tongue twister, but something that plays into the fact that Mel is Australian. Or they
Who's Australian?
Mel's
Mel
not
Gibson.
Australian.
No, but he has a similar.
Side note, I don't know if he listens all the time, but Mont told me one day that like along his family tree, somewhere pretty far back, he's related to Mel Gibson.
What the fuck?
No word of a lie. Don't know. Might have to fact check on that, Mont.
How the fuck did he figure that
I
out?
don't know. His mum told him or something. I mean, I suppose.
It's always believable.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know how true it is. He said it years ago, remember? So we should look that up.
Damn.
We might better get him on
And
for a
we
fucking...
never did.
So I think it might just be Homer thinking Mel is Australian because he says, "Turn that down under frown upside down." It's about when like Mel is wanting to,
It
to
may
give
be
up on running away.
All right, it may be a reference to the fact that Mel's character in Mad Max, or the entirety of Mad Max, is supposed to be set in some dystopian Australia.
Yeah.
I got it.
Fuck yeah, nailed that.
I get references.
I didn't even know fucking Mel Gibson is in Mad Max.
He is. He's in the original, like, first couple before they...
He is the main Mad.
Don't even know what fucking Mad Max.
They tried to reboot the franchise with Tom Hardy and then decided that that didn't work, so they're now trying to reboot the franchise with, like, Charlize Theron and now what's that other...
Anya Taylor-Joy.
That's her name. She's Australian.
She is not Australian.
Okay.
I put it there.
But the point that I was going to make is right after they land, there's a Lethal Weapon reference
Yes.
where Mel Gibson says, I'm
pretty
I'm getting too old for this stuff.
Yep.
Which
yeah,
is
there's
supposed to
a line.
be shit.
Yeah. And then
Which is Danny Glover's like recurring line from all of the Lethal Weapon movies.
yeah, and then Homer says something to try and instill like a sense of, all right, we've got to keep going with this.
Which is the line that you brought up before, turn that down and frown upside down.
And then he says, Lethal Weapon showed us that suicide is funny. That was one of Homer's lines.
Oh,
That's
yeah, he
after
does
they
say
run
that,
into
yeah.
the museum where Bart, Marge and Lisa are. They're already like looking at cars or something like that. Yeah, they like walk up to the original Batmobile and they say like something about the models, and then Adam West is blatantly in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Robin alive. Like,
Yeah, Robin's in there too.
Yeah, real.
No.
I don't know where I got this from. I got it written down as a quote, and it's like, he's just a dummy. I know, but he sells tickets.
That was
All right, so that's like just after
executives.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like not wanting to part ways with Mel at this point. And they're saying like, how can they
yeah.
cut him out of the movie or something along those lines.
Yeah, right.
So, all right, so they get the scene in the museum where like that line that you just spoke about comes up. He says like Mad Max like taught us about something about suicide. And Mel's like, I don't know if that was the message of the movie. But it does bring us to a certain part of the show.
Oh, okay.
Do you have one for this episode or?
I was going to say I don't have the button to press, but
okay.
I can probably.
Our game shows are a little different from yours. Your shows reward knowledge. We punish ignorance.
So I can't remember exactly what Homer's line is that spurs this on, but he says something about how like what movies like make him feel or something like that. And Mel Gibson looks at him and goes, "Movies mean that much to you, Homer?"
Yes, it was something about checking under the toilet seat for a bomb.
No, that's before it. So I want the line after it. Movies really mean that much to you, Homer? Anyone?
I don't have it.
I don't know. Yeah, I know exactly the part of
Yeah.
the movie. And I remember him, he checked under his bum. For years, I've checked under my toilet for a bum. Yeah.
So that is the line before it, but then he says, movies mean that much to you. He looks down and he says, they're my only escape from the drudgery of work and family. And then it cuts to the family. They're all like, the fuck?
Yeah.
Have you got one?
I mean, I could do one. It's probably a bit of a sitter. It's probably,
right.
which means it's pretty easy, but
I'll
I'm going
take
to
it.
try. All right. So when they're like chasing him in the car, and then the quote is, I'll start it. The one on the left is Mel Gibson.
I don't know who those other two guys are.
Yeah, it was a sitter, but I tried.
It's
That's all
a
I
good-
got.
Only
really
that,
good quote.
only because like that was the ad that they used to promo the episode, so that is burnt into my memory.
Fuck.
I've got a good one.
Fucking rookie error.
So it's in the car chase scene as well. So they get into the Road Warrior, which is the vehicle from one of the Mad Max movies, and there's like a dummy of Mel sitting in there, that he throws into the back. And anyway, they're taking off, and then they're trying to come up with ploys of how to get these guys off their tail, and they throw the dummy out onto the car. And then the dude driving goes, "You all saw it.
He came at me with a knife." That's right. That's when we get that next line.
And then he goes, "He's just a dummy."
I know, but he sells tickets. And then there's like a solid 5 seconds where he's just like, just like looking at him.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably the last quote, apart from one other that I had that was really fucking good.
It might be the same one that I have. Because it pretty much cuts from there straight to the premiere, doesn't it? Or after the line that you just brought up as well. We pretty much just played that like scene out throughout that like little game show. So we get that like the scene where Homer stops and says they need to stand up to him. That's Mel Gibson on the left. I don't know who those other two guys are. They run up Homer's ass. And Mel's like, "Are you okay, Homer?" And he's just like, I think so. I think so. And then he takes a couple of meters forward and he's just like, no.
Yeah.
So it cuts straight from there to the premiere, and they're like outside all nervous and stuff like that. Everybody comes out all upset because the end of the movie was fucking terrible. And they all loved it when they walked out from the test screening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why are they back watching another test screen?
Exactly.
Or it might be the actual movie at this point.
I think it's the premiere.
Okay.
True, yeah. Well, yeah. Because it was like the reason they like did the test screen, then they did the re thing. That's what they wanted to burn it before it got to premiere, but then it went to like, must have gone to Final Cut or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone hated it.
There was something, I think Mel Gibson said, my note is just gentle America doesn't like violence.
No, I think Homer says that.
Okay.
And then Mel looks at him and goes, "I blame the internet and the return of swing music." So after that, Homer's just throwing like literally just idea after idea after idea at him, and it's got this big like panning shot of them both getting in the limousine.
Yeah.
They roll a little bit up the road and Homer gets thrown. It's a Mel.
Mel, I fell out.
Yeah.
And it pans back down to a dog who's just got shifty eyes. It's cut.
Yeah. Really good way to like round the episode off. Like a lot of episodes have a not great ending because it sort of seems rushed in a way.
Yeah.
Like the plot of the story is always great, and then they're like, "Oh fuck, we've only got 20 minutes to finish this, so we'll just wrap it up here."
Yeah.
Whereas this one has like,
Oh, I see. Then everything is wrapped up in a neat little package.
Here's what I've started to realize. The early episodes have to end on a wholesome message because that's what they're trying to tell the entire time. The middle episodes end on something zany because that's pretty much what they're trying to go for throughout the entirety of the episode. And then the season 20 episodes have this weird dumbass mix of both of them. It's like they're trying to make you like understand what story they were trying to tell, which wasn't like really put together all that well, while trying to make some zany out there joke at the same time, which is why I feel like a lot of these fall like really flat.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was a bit of an underwhelming episode, though, to be honest, as a whole, personally.
What did you rate the season 2 episode again? Oh yeah, we did all the weird ratings for it. That's right.
I rated mine like 2 coffees or something. Two and a half. No, 2, 3. I don't
So
know.
what do you rate this one?
I give this one like 3 dummies getting run over by a car.
I'd probably rate this like 4 shifty-eyed dogs out of like
14,
potentially 5, potentially 10 mooning human beings. I don't know. It was all right. It just seemed a little bit like sometimes when you try too hard to make something funny, it kind of gets like dumb funny. Which but I know that like this episode was pretty directed around dumb funny. You know what I mean? Like it's Homer being super ridiculous and shitty at writing movies. So it's funny. Like there was definitely moments, definitely like little bits, and like the Hollywood actors with the like this simple like, hey, and the old mate going like, nah, hey, no, hey, no, yeah. You know, like
we
that,
get it.
Yeah, little shit like that. Like there was funny parts, and like I don't know, but I thought as a prime era episode, it was a bit like meh. Like I don't know, I haven't. Still like it. It's fucking Simpsons. It's fucking got some good bits in it.
Yeah.
But it definitely wouldn't be up there in the top 15.
Yeah.
Top 20. Like it was just a bit of a sitter.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
Just like a good middle of the road episode.
Yeah.
I feel like the episodes with like big celebrity cameos where they have a celebrity that is literally like playing themselves throughout the entirety of it focus a lot more on like trying to find ways to fit that celebrity's personality into the Simpsons universe as opposed to just trying to use the Simpsons universe to make a joke out of that celebrity.
Yeah.
Whereas like you look at something like South Park, for instance, with like the Kanye West episode, which I'm sure we've brought up before kind of thing. It's like that does not involve him in any way whatsoever. They just went, we're going to make a joke about this person and just make an entire 20-minute episode on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like they do I feel like they do enough, like they do a lot of ripping. Like the focus is on the whole episode is probably ripping on Mel Gibson in kind of ways. Yeah.
Bits and pieces, yeah, but like if you compare it to even one of the episodes that we've analyzed before with the who the fuck's in it, and we also spoke about it before, Kim Basinger, Alec Baldwin, and Ron Howard kind of thing. I feel like
episode
because there's like three like large celebrities in that, they kind of have a little bit more free reign to just like pick on a couple of things about each of them, which they do a little bit, as opposed to this one is just kind of like Mel Gibson's the focal point of the episode. So they don't really want to like, unless he comes in and goes, hey, let's rip on me for 20 minutes, which I'm sure some celebrities have done.
Yeah.
But
I feel like they're not like the other episode, the Hollywood Freaks episode. I don't know what it's called. That's what I'm like the Kim Basinger.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of that theme was like celebrities trying to escape Hollywood. Like I feel like that was a big theme of it. So
yes.
Yeah, they touched them, but like the bulk of the story was like Homer helping them hide out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Whereas this is
storyline, like going to the grocery agent.
If you look at this in juxtaposition, this is literally the complete opposite of that episode. It's now Homer helping somebody try and further himself within Hollywood, as opposed to trying to hide from it.
Yeah.
I think with the caliber of guests that they get, some guests are there for known comedic value, so they'll not write specific parts for them. They'll let them ad-lib things as they go, which in turn turns out to be funnier. Whereas like all these lines written for Mel were probably by the writers, not through Mel's like intuition of what would be funny or relevant through The Simpsons. Whereas like all of Phil Hartman's lines were probably half ad-libbed at least. So like all of Lionel Hutz and Troy McClure's lines were fucking on the spot, just reacting to what was happening around him.
Yes, because he's actually like a comedic actor.
Yeah, and that's the thing with bringing in celebrities. They're not known for being funny. They're just reciting lines that other people have written for them.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And that's why they parody them in such a way where they're taking the piss out of them at the same time as trying to make them relevant in the episode.
No, good point. Like they're never really doing their own material.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Hollywood actors aren't.
Yeah.
It's always a script.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Like me and Ned touched on with the cold open the other night that we realized we were unconsciously doing.
Yes.
And then...
Damn, we're so funny. Oh, well.
All the material was written for us. Yeah, but we delivered it better. We're better than most kinds of intros.
It must have seen you.
I've got just one afterthought. So Gibson was willing to do the job, even came in on 3 separate occasions to do retakes, mostly because his children knew he would be watching. Unlike most guest voices, Gibson recorded the show along with the cast. On one occasion, it turned out that a joke written for Gibson actually did happen in real life. The writing staff wanted Gibson to say that he would urinate behind a dumpster because it sounded like it would be not a classy thing to do for a movie star. He had, however, already done that during a couple of film premieres because he can feel trapped in a public toilet with a lot of fans. Gibson was surprised that writers knew about the story, but it turned out to be a coincidence.
Wow. So one of those like Simpson coincidences.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. So a through line into Mel Gibson's life of him pissing behind a dumpster and then wanting to write into the story him pissing behind a dumpster.
More so like he was at a premiere for one of his movies and didn't want to be noticed, so he went out the back door and took a leak instead of going into a toilet. And that's something he actually did.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing about like more so happenstance than predicting the future with The Simpsons.
Yeah, it's literally just them throwing a million things at a wall, and one of those things that landed on the wall happened to just...
It stinks. It stinks.
Yes, Mr. Wellborn. Everything stinks.
That woman has natural breasts. This can't be good.
Well, that would usually be reserved for the start of our season 21 episodes.
We'll start again. Ready? Action.
Are you ready to laugh?
Oh, that poor dog.
I said usually, but usually means that like we're getting a bad episode. But this one wasn't too bad.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah.
I don't know where it is.
Bottom middle.
Catfish.
Sorry.
Come on, Matt. You know this.
It's gonna be a clunky old fucking thing.
Yeah, if you want to hold it, fair enough. I think the fucking...
That sounded so condescending.
I just want to.
You want to hold it?
I was more like foreboding that it does drop out.
Ah, right, yes.
Then the cord's fucked with, so...
It's the kind I like.
Yes, perfect.
Alrighty. Season 21.
I put it there.
Episode 3.
Oh, I like this guy better already.
Ned, you're fired.
Come on, killer. We're known when we're not needed.
Catfish.
Season 21, episode 3, titled The Great Wife Hope. Synopsis reads, when the men and boys of Springfield become obsessed with mixed martial arts, Marge leads a protest when she catches Bart fighting in school. The sports creator, Chet Engelbrit, agrees to end it if Marge defeats him in a match. After training, the match begins with Chet immediately knocking down Marge. When Bart enters the ring to defend her, Chet injures him. Enraged, Marge knocks out Chet. Victorious, Marge makes a speech about ending violence, but the audience has already gone to the parking lot to watch the other two people fight. I feel like more happened in that episode.
Every single one of those season 21 synopses fucking suck.
Yeah.
Because no one cares by now.
Yeah, that's true. I don't care.
I don't care.
So, my first note for this episode is I don't know whether you picked up on this in the cultural references, but so the Great White Hope was a guy called Jim Jeffries, who was an American heavyweight champion who got beaten by Jack Johnson. And I can't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was the fight that happened. It happened in Australia.
I don't care.
In 1908.
Got him.
Jack Johnson was a black guy, and back in 1908, obviously, it was,
He was a black guy back in 1908.
a crime to be a black guy in 1908.
Segregation.
So him
Yeah.
beating Jim Jeffries
Oppression.
inspired race riots across the entirety of the United States, where like 14 people were killed or something like that.
So now pretty much an Australian comedian.
That's
started race
1/10 of-
riots. Before he was sorry.
It's 1/10 of McVeigh's victims. Yeah, my first note is... oh, this is so much better not knowing when they're coming. 97,000 videos of porn to find the video Marge wanted.
Yeah, so that was a reference to... It was a reference to something.
It's the kind I like.
It was not the episode we covered just before, but the episode we covered last week.
Right.
Quotation marks of somebody talking about how there's heaps of pornography on the internet.
Sorry, can I just like rewind for 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Intro, billboard gag. I just had to throw a billboard gag out there.
Yeah.
I like them. Don't know how. I don't watch the new age intro, but the leftorium sign. Did anyone notice that in the intro?
No.
It's like massive leftorium sign before it pans to the school, and it's like next right, like a direction on the road.
That
So
is quite good,
so
actually.
It was a really quick passing small gag.
Oh, so that's in the
Not missed.
opening sequence now.
That's in the scene before the shitty couch gag, because the couch dances around.
Yeah.
Shit couch gag. We'll just touch that note. But
Yeah.
yeah, in the entry before it pans to the school, there's a big billboard gag, and it's like leftorium with a big picture of Flanders, and then it says like next right is the
That is hilarious.
is the description. Just a cheap little throwaway
Yeah.
on there. Yeah.
Just like putting them off the trail of where the leftorium is immediately without any context, which is fucking brilliant.
So what is the opening scene exactly? I think it's like
I
there's a
think
bunch
it's
of
just the irony of the leftorium being the next right hand turn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not like throwing them off the path.
Yeah.
I don't think they're giving bad directions. Ironic that it was a right turn to the leftorium.
Yeah, that's probably what I was more getting at. I just couldn't formulate that in my own brain. I'm glad we have a third guest this week. Yeah, the 97,000 videos of porn. Marge explains in the beginning of the episode that she found out about a creative new sport called crazy bowling by typing in girls having fun after ignoring several thousand pages of porn.
That's right. And
what prompted that.
That's what I was trying to get into my head, and they can't figure out why there's no men at the bowling alley. And then it cuts to a bunch of different like sports arenas, like baseball's empty, all these other kind of places, bars are empty, and then it sort of pans over to ultimate, what's it called, punch, kick, and choke.
Yeah.
UPKC.
Yeah, C's again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh?
Chicken Coke.
Chicken Coke.
What do you call it? Pepsi.
Chicken Coke.
Partial credit.
Yeah, that was my next note as well. Thanks.
Thanks.
Didn't write that. Ladies all wondering where the men are. They're at the UFC.
Yes. So it's like sort of straight after that. There's like a fight happening. The dude's like trying to get like some form of like leg bar or something like that, and ends up bending his own leg backwards. And the other dude just like gets up and walks away.
Yeah.
So it cut straight from there to a cameo from Chuck Liddell. So I wrote down that I just have Chuck Liddell ? But it was obviously voiced by Chuck Liddell himself.
Yeah, that was at the end of the synopsis that I just didn't put in because it's self-explanatory.
Which is also crazy to me as well. It's like the timeline of like
now.
this specific episode in comparison to like where the UFC is now. It's like The Simpsons. I don't know. There's like a part of me that feels like The Simpsons have always been like a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to
Mr. Simpson, no!
Just when it comes to like the whole like concept that they have of like predicting things or just like sort of talking about things before they're not
their time.
Yeah, and it's not to say that the UFC wasn't popular at that point in time. Around that era, like the Chuck Liddell years was when it was actually sort of starting to really gain popularity.
Yeah,
those are like the first like
2000s to
those
late
are like
2000s.
the first like mixed martial arts stars that you could say.
Yeah,
kind of thing. It's
Brock
him
Lesnar with a mohawk.
Around Brock Lesnar was even like a tiny bit after that era. You got like Chuck Liddell, like Tito Ortiz, Randy Savage, I think is his name.
That's WWE superstar.
Randy something.
Not Orton.
No, his name's Randy something. I can't remember what the fuck his name is, but yeah.
Rand McNally?
Rand McNally. Wear hats on their feet. Hamburgers eat people. But just before that, we get a great quote from Lenny and Carl. I can't remember exactly what precedes this, but they said something about like they're going to watch like, gladiator fights essentially. And Lenny's like, just like the ancient Romans. Carl's like, but unlike the ancient Romans, our empire isn't falling apart. Then they high five.
Yeah, that's it.
At the start of that quote, it actually says 3 hours of half naked guys fighting like animals.
Yeah.
Just like the Romans. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Sort of like a gay innuendo that they really wanted to see that.
Also just talking down UFC, basically saying it's dudes.
Was it the Romans or the Greeks that had gay orgies?
I think both.
Yeah, it's both.
Okay, nice.
You go to battle and you fuck your homies.
Pretty much, yeah. Your homies and also the fucking children, but the boy children, yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's gross.
Basically,
bum them in the non-birth hole.
Yeah,
but like, look, it's good to see that tradition is carried over to the Vatican.
Roman Catholics for a
We
reason.
make the rules we like.
It's the kind I like.
Sorry for the delay, folks.
That's all right.
My next note is Joe Biden hate a solid 10 years before he was president.
Yeah, my note is also about Biden getting referenced, suing the school, the state, and that jackass, Joe Biden.
Yeah.
When was Biden first in politics? That was my note.
He was Barack Obama's vice president.
He was Barack Obama's vice president, but he's been in politics since like the 80s.
Okay. So
constant politician, not just a businessman that jumps into Congress,
politician since like the 80s. Yeah, he's been like involved in politics to some degree.
No wonder he's so worn out.
He was around during the years of like the Clinton,
washed him. I didn't.
Yeah, so he was in office when Clinton was president.
He was one of the people that helped draft like the Clinton drug bill, which is like attributed to like a lot of the reason why the United States is completely fucked as the way it is today.
Yeah, perfect.
Or like not the United States per se, but their jail system is just completely backwards as opposed to any other country in the world. And
because it's fully privatized.
Exactly. And that bill is attributed to a lot of it because it incriminated a lot of like very, very small things.
I mean, real side note and probably a dark note, maybe don't want to go too far, but is that why their system of like reoffending and criminality and getting away and so much bad shit happening inside of jails? Do you reckon is that like because it's privatized and so like
they want to keep people in? They make money by incarceration rates.
Would like
from the government though, so it costs the government money.
It'd be taxpayer money. Yeah,
they've got a privatized thing they've sold off, and now it costs them so much money to get. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's sort of like the I can't remember the name of the banking system that runs the
world.
Yeah, the world essentially. But there's like a privatized banking like affiliate that a few blokes made that basically runs the whole of the US. It was in Zeitgeist, which we talked about earlier.
Murdoch and
yeah,
it'd be like Citadel or like BlackRock or one of those other huge financial institutions.
The United States has 5% of the world's population, but 20% of the world's incarcerated people.
Yeah, wow. Fucking hell.
And then like they're not big in comparison to Australia.
In 2023, the United States had the highest incarceration rate in the world at 531 people per 100,000. In comparison, Australia's rate was 158 people per 100,000.
Yeah, so like probably 4 or 5 times lower than their rate.
What is it with that chair and dropping your phone?
Look, this is fucking living over
It's a
here.
curse.
Yeah. Living over here. I don't know why you get the dud fucking chair.
I thought it was comfortable.
God, it's fucking full dud. And he like just speaking out for the fucking health and safety.
3 feet tall.
I thought it was
health and safety and work conditions for the guests.
Oh,
Terrible chair.
It's much better.
I thought it was doing everyone a favour.
Full upgrade.
The 3-pronged couch would have been great. You know, we all would have got to sit on it.
Yeah, but then someone in the middle's got to be like, huh?
Boy, I hope somebody got fired for that blunder button.
Oh, where is it?
Far right, bottom.
It's got a Strava thing on it.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
What's the green one, guys? We're just going to go through the soundboard real quick.
Oh, the green one like swaps you to a different soundboard.
Yeah, let's not press that one.
Which we don't have.
We're having enough.
There's no sounds on that.
We're having enough trouble.
Oh,
I don't care.
Hey, look, it's the season 20 episode. Just go nuts, bro.
yeah. Fuck it up.
Well,
It's the kind I like.
I've got a relatively decent note.
Is it? You go.
The quote just says, "Don't you have a sack to hacky?"
Oh,
Okay, well,
sorry, go back to my notes. I haven't seen in 10 minutes. I have that written down too.
Oh,
Well, I don't have that note written down or that quote written down, but my note is 2 hacky sack references in one episode. This is living.
episode.
Because
the other
at in the first episode that we covered, the season 2 one, where Homer's like sick of hanging out with Grandpa, and he says something like, "Just a quick game of hacky sack."
Yeah, right.
True. I didn't even coin on to that.
Yeah.
The only reason that the hacky sack thing drew my attention was the way she delivered it. I think Marge says that line, like, "Don't you have a sack to hacky?"
To Otto or something like
Yeah,
that.
to Otto.
Yeah.
So it's in the schoolyard.
Yeah.
And like obviously I don't know where we're up in the episode exactly, but when Homer like they talk about the fighting and stuff like that, he tells them to not try it at home and then goes do this in the schoolyard somewhere you can sue.
Yes.
Which I thought was a very good American quote.
Oh yeah.
Do it somewhere you can sue, obviously.
100%.
But when they go to the next scene, that's them fighting in the schoolyard and Marge breaks it up. That is when Otto comes over and she tells him you have a sack to hacky.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to attempt it 5 times.
Yeah.
And gets 1 or 0 on every attempt. I think 0 on most.
Makes no contact with the sack.
So basically just sums Otto up as being a spaced out stoner weird dude.
Yeah.
Just drug fucked,
that has
essentially.
a couple of beers with his mates and couple
Exactly.
Girls, weirdo.
Like a regular guy.
Flog.
I've met a couple of people like Otto spending enough time in Nara.
The reason I brought
There was a dude in the car park of
down to Otto like that.
There was a dude in the car park of the pub the other day drinking just straight ethanol.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's hit all the way down an hour.
Jesus. Doesn't like a throat hold.
It's the kind I like.
I was waiting for that.
What do you call it? A throat hole.
The hacky sack reference reminded me of. Have you seen like Between Two Ferns? Zach Galifianakis hosts it. He's interviewing Matthew McConaughey.
Yes,
and Zach says something about. Do you ever get sad about
when you're making movies that somewhere there's a sack not being hacky?
It fucking destroyed me when I heard it. I guess you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't. That sounds awful. All these poor little hacky sacks not getting fucking hacked.
We'll fix that. Yeah. You got a hacky sack there? I honestly thought that's what you were doing.
It's the kind I like.
So, I think we go sort of straight from there to like another scene of Marge like trying to rally a bunch of people together to essentially get this thing banned. Do you have any notes from that scene or the next one?
I've got maybe the same thought process you're going on, which was a through line to the episode we did 2 weeks ago, which was the Statue of David one and the Itchy and Scratchy and Marge.
There's a vague through line, but no, the point that I was going to make is way dumber than that.
Okay.
So,
no.
After
I like your thought process, but get the fuck out of here.
Shut the fuck up. You stupid.
Yeah, that's one we got to put on the board.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Yeah, Matt did. So after that, it cuts straight from there to Marge with the group of women, which is like Maud, Helen Lovejoy, and somebody else, and then has like Rogue Homer.
Who?
Maud. Because she died in like season
she's definitely not in that.
below 10.
Talking about like the sign picketing group. But
Yeah.
she's definitely not in any of the episode because
Yeah.
she died 30 seasons ago.
I fucking swear she was there, or somebody that's like dressed vaguely like her is there. So maybe that's what threw me off. Anyway,
No foot long.
she's got a bunch of these. She's got a bunch of these women that she's
comes up.
organized to picket with her, and then she's roped Homer and Marge into it. Homer and Bart into it rather, and they sneak off.
Do they buy tickets?
And buy tickets from a scalper, and then Marge walks up to the scalper and buys ticket as well.
I ain't a scalper. I'm just a guy with 200 friends that didn't show up.
As she walks off, all the women turn to each other and they're just like, "Oh, well, Marge is going into the event. What are we going to do? Let's talk like shit about her behind her back." And the first thing they say is something about like how Maggie doesn't speak. And my note is, these women don't know anything. Maggie has spoken in the last couple of episodes.
Have they not been watching as well?
Is that in the, like season 20 episode she speaks?
There's like
I put a note in saying the discussion of Maggie never talking. Yeah.
Late in the season 20 episodes, there was
not the Covenant episode.
There's an episode that we cover, whatever the one that we did a couple of weeks ago, where Marge and Lisa are at a salon and they're talking about like women through history. The last section of that episode, there's like a full monologue that's voiced by a different voice actor that like they give Maggie this like 2-minute speech or whatever. Jodie Foster.
From Love Actually.
Good movie.
And then I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's either in that same episode or the week before that in the season 20 episode where Maggie speaks again. So there's like a couple of weeks in a row where she was speaking.
It was the same episode. I remember the season 2 episode had Maggie saying something along the lines
Catfish?
her first word.
No.
And she said catfish.
No. It wasn't that. It was the week before it. Because it was the episode where all the Finland people, like where all the people from Ogdenville, they come to Springfield, and she starts speaking in that weird language or whatever the fuck it is. Ogdenvillese, yes.
Yeah.
I was about to say as well, just in difference to like the other episode, it's been a good progression. It's been a good progression into like Lisa's shitty attitude towards fucking everything.
Yeah.
So, like
she gets a bit more.
you guys probably been doing a bit of research and watching. I haven't watched for much for a while. So coming back and watching 3 episodes and like really paying attention to what you guys discuss is her shitty personality.
Yep.
Lack of a better word, gets more disgruntled as
They just make her depressed, essentially.
She's cynical.
It was very at the start of this episode. She was just fucking miserable. Like
I think
to be around. Kind of thing. Yeah.
As you just said, we've spoken about it recently, and I remember, I can't remember what I was saying. Anyway, let's go on.
Can I do a quote? So we've already done the quote for this episode, but I want to fucking bring a super quote in, but it's different format, my own format. Can you press the button? It's a game show thing.
Game shows
2 game shows in one episode.
Sorry, celebrity game show, right?
Reward
I'm
knowledge.
going to see if I got another quote.
We punish ignorance.
Well, I'm not going to say the start of the quote. I'm just going to describe the scene.
Yep.
If you can't get the quote, I won't slap you. But I want to note this quote out before we get too far on. So the scene is when Marge is walking in after the sign picking, and she's bought the tickets from the scalper. She's going inside, which is before I took his off track.
Yep.
So Marge is entering the stadium, walking down to the ring. And I want to know what the announcer's quote was when she was walking down to the ring.
Nah, I got nothing.
Yeah, I thought you would have wrote it down because it's pretty fucking funny.
I remember the scene you were talking about because like the Chet dude comes into play here, and the blue-haired lawyer comes into play because he's sitting in the corporate box, and he says something about Marge.
Yeah.
Chet does, and he's like a parody.
Chet's the owner of the
he's
UFC.
the parody of Vince McMahon because they've amalgamated UFC and WWE. I can't remember the quote.
Okay, you got any? Want to just throw it? You don't remember nothing?
Got nothing.
So the owner of the Vince McMahon lookalike dude, Chet
Chet
says, "That woman has natural breasts. This can't be good." I thought that was pretty good.
Context wise,
I don't even remember that happening.
Female fighters probably don't really care if they have tits or not.
Have you seen Kayla Harrison?
Clearly, no.
It's a guy in a wig.
Kayla Garrison.
It's the kind I like.
Oh, well done. Wait, what did I say there?
Well, from there, she sort of like walks down to the ring, takes the announcer's microphone, and says something to the effect of like, "This is a barbaric sport." Dude puts himself on the jumbotron and then challenges her to a fight.
In the Septagon. And I wrote, were they not allowed to call it the Octagon?
Probably not.
Probably trademarked, yeah.
Yeah.
The Octagon's a pretty, even though I'm not a fight person, I know what the Octagon is. You know what I mean? Like that's
as you do.
It's a pretty prominent thing about the UFC.
Yeah.
I wonder if they took like the Octagon shape, just doubling what wrestling is, try and make it cooler than wrestling because a normal ring has 4 sides.
Yeah, I mean, a normal ring has no sides, one side, because a ring is a circular thing. But in a boxing ring,
yes.
But I mean, I feel like it's almost a circle, it's almost a square. It's a perfect mash.
Not quite a circle. It's not quite a square.
You take it from wrestling.
Sumo and judo and shit like that.
Yeah.
Is like a circle. Like sumo's a circle.
It is too.
And then like modern WWE, so you said it was like a bit of a mashup of UFC, WWE. They've got a square ring. The Octagon is like a perfect mashup from like old school. Sorry about that. An old school.
There he is.
Asian art, but like old school fighting, like sumo, taekwondo, those things. Most of them have circles, no?
Yeah, you are right.
And then obviously modern WWE is a square, so that's probably a bit far fetched. But probably the reason they got to mixed martial arts is mix between like a wrestling boxing ring and a mix between an old school, different martial arts kind of ring.
Yeah, they probably just looked at it.
Isosceles triangle is equal to that.
Are you ready to laugh?
That poor dog.
Okay, the next note I have is the ad for the Marge vs. Chet fight. It is very reminiscent of the fight that Dredrick Tatum and Homer had, the payback fight, where they sort of smash each other's character against each other.
Very similar like promotional shit.
Yeah.
You know, like
which
is a lot of fights a clashing of something in the promotion.
But like having it sort of hit each other and turn to rubble That was exactly what happened in the Tatum versus Homer fight.
Yeah,
which was very cool.
Very through line of fight.
Yeah.
Promotion in The Simpsons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Back in the day, yeah, 100%. Like if you look at all the old fight graphics from like the 90s and shit like that, that's pretty much what all of them were. Whereas now they're like fully fledged fucking movies.
Sorry.
Destroyed him. I'm talking about something I like. I don't care.
Do we go straight from there to the bar?
Carl getting offended at Homer asking him if he... That's where my note finishes.
Because I have that note written down. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Perfect.
Yeah, he says something about, like, Homer's all worried because Marge has accepted this fight, and then he asks Carl, like, oh, do you know Drederick Tatum? And Carl's like, I'm really offended that you think I know Drederick Tatum just because I'm black. And Homer's like, oh, I'm really sorry. And Carl's like, oh, no, I do know Drederick Tatum. We met through Dr. Hibbert at a party at Bleeding Gums Murphy's house. The only 4 black guys that are in the show. Apart from Lou the cop.
I was about to say, why wasn't Lou invited?
Yeah. He wasn't black at this point.
He just turned.
So then they cut.
Disinvited.
They cut from there to Marge training with Drederick Tatum, and the tattoos that are on Drederick Tatum's body, the way that they're structured, are structured exactly like Mike Tyson's bag workout that he used to do back in the day. So there's like this entire number system that goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is all relevant to like jabs, body hooks, and all that kind of stuff. So that's the way that the tattoos are structured, exactly in that same way, obviously, because Tyson is supposed to be Drederick Tatum. Yeah.
Wow, okay. God, they went to like a big level of detail for a lot of things in the show that goes unseen by a lot of people.
They made that joke for like maybe one person, and you're looking at him. It's not many people that would be big boxing fans and Simpsons fans.
True. Yeah. Is that a pretty niche thing to know? Obviously, Tyson's a fucking huge dude. Like, would a lot of people know that he used to have a training sequence?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that's like a...
But the symbols, I suppose, is that because... were the symbols like any relation to it, or just the positioning?
Like where he hit on the body?
The tattoos themselves were positioned in the same place as the numbers kind of thing, but he just works off a number system.
Yeah. It's the same pattern.
Yeah, it's the same pattern, exactly, yeah.
This is not what I was talking about. You sure?
So there's kind of like a montage scene of Marge going around to a couple of different trainers, and that's where we get that scene where we mentioned earlier where Akira makes a second appearance.
Yes, correct. And I've noted that and said barely ever see him, and we get him 2 times in the same week, the way we watch the show.
Yeah, it's beginning to, not beginning, rather. It's 100% prevalent at this point in time that they are looking back through their fucking archives, roughly about 10 to 20 years, and going, what the fuck did we do back then? Yeah. Someone's just watching shit and going, I need some inspiration. Oh, here's Akira. Maybe we'll use him again. Because why the fuck else would you bring him up?
I mean, I feel like the only way The Simpsons has probably written so many episodes, though, is obviously looking back. And I wonder if, obviously, the writers...
seeing what worked back then.
Yeah, and like you said, like it's obviously come to be this, like, huge fucking thing, The Simpsons, you know what I mean? So there's so many, like, super fans out there to, like, nod back to them to keep those people interested. Do they use... either like watch something for inspiration and then throw think things are funny, or you know what I mean, and then expanding on just using that element in there. I reckon they use it before a board writing thing. They probably would watch a 10-year ago episode. You know what I mean? Like maybe they've got that thing. Maybe they do every time. You know, as they move through, so they're like refreshed on what they were like.
There's too many references.
I know that's probably like far fetched, but I feel like if you're
I understand. Yeah,
a designer, of some
catfish.
Yeah,
catfish.
Like, it does make sense, though, especially when they're up to like 500 episodes or something.
750.
700 fucking episodes.
Hard to get inspiration from somewhere. You might as well look
You're going
back
to
what
tread
you
the
used to.
same ground more than once.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Look this way. Base an episode off us.
Yeah.
Matt Groening, you listening? You fucking
is he even involved in the show anymore?
I feel like I'll look like the biggest deadbeat if they did that episode. Like if they drew me in as a guest to come on, I'd be the deadbeat guy.
You'd be the Dale Toe Treve of The Simpsons.
Who? Is that the fucking
guy off King of the Hill?
Yeah. Oh, wait,
with
what?
the bald head.
Oh, no, dude. Fuck off.
Who were you thinking?
I was thinking of like the guy out of King of the Hill, but that weird other guy that's like maybe is it Simpsons? No, it's King of the Hill. I'm pretty sure.
Boomhauer.
Dude with a mullet. No, it's just some weird fucking trailer park dude with like circle specs. Come on, you'd know the guy if you see it, 100%. Oh no, it's the Carney. I'm thinking of the Carney guy. That's, you know what I mean?
You mean Cooter?
Yeah. It's like him because he comes back in The Simpsons like not as a Carney, but same character.
Does he?
Hugh Jackman?
Hugh Grant? Three Hugh Grants out of a Hugh Jackman.
He's a huge guy. I've never seen Cooter come back.
Yeah,
I don't think he does.
Maybe it's the same episode.
In theory.
But anyway.
Look, son, I'm rich.
The quote that I was trying to get to, which
Look at me, boy, I'm a millionaire.
The quote that I was trying to get to, which we already got to, was when he's cracking all the pops in his spine, or the discs in his spine, rather. And he's like, he feels only pain.
Yeah. Did we mention that off air or?
No, we mentioned that
spoke
in one of
about
the
it
earlier
before,
episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that fighting is that the montage you're talking about with all the trainers?
Yeah. Then he goes from there. They go from there to wrestling with Burns.
Yeah, I've got his name on the back of his like one-piece outfit is the New Haven Nuisance.
Yeah.
And his outfit.
I've got a thing I want to bring up too is that in the fight scene when they go to the bullies and they do the little training thing with the bullies.
Yeah, Bart gets one of them in like a chokehold of some sort.
Oh, that's early days when Nelson and him are fighting in the school. Yeah, that's when Marge rocks up like at the start of the episode. But when Marge gets the training from the bullies, Nelson's not there. It's only Jimbo,
Kearney,
and
Dolph.
Dolph, yeah, I always forget his name. When they're there, but Nelson's not there. And at the start of the episode, she's telling him not to fight, but talking to Nelson how he wants to be an event planner. Yeah, and it was very like it seemed like not weak, and I mean it seemed like not bullyish and a kind of bit like a weaker, vibe.
Yep.
But when is that a thing that happens in modern thing? Is Nelson not like fully a bully anymore?
This is something that we've spoken about
before. Side all the time. Yeah.
This is something we've spoken about before. He's kind of transitioned from being this like school bully and now just being like the tough guy of like Bart's friend group. Because now there's a lot of like, even in the like the episode,
the Bart the General episode that really depicted Nelson's character.
But they've changed it so drastically over time. Now he's just like friends with Bart. Like if you look back at the episode that we did last week, like the season 21 episode with Krabappel, a lot of the back and forth that he doesn't have any conversations with Milhouse throughout the episode that I can think of. The only conversations that he has are with Nelson.
Yeah. And I feel like Nelson was kind of like a ringleader in the bullies in the earlier
Definitely.
years. But then now it's like if it's the three of them by themselves. And Nelson, ever since he shot the bird, had a bit of with his BB gun.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's when Bart shoots it. But you know what I mean? That episode, he has like feelings a little bit. Yeah. And it just produces, there's always Nelson with a soft side all the time. Yeah, true.
Because I think after that point, we see, it might have been before, but probably after, like Nelson and Lisa getting in a relationship. That was between definitely seasons 2 and 10.
Yeah.
And I think we do see that lighter side of Nelson try to be portrayed because there is 3 other bullies, so they can...
I just thought, did you reckon, my question to you guys was, like, do you reckon the 3 bullies are there because Nelson nowadays is, like, a lot softer and you said he's probably the tough guy of Bart's friends and, like, probably hangs out with the bullies, but isn't, like, a ringleader as such in the bullies anymore. He's more... Yeah, mate. Like,
he's like a rogue.
On a par level more so with Bart, even though he's just still...
Yeah. Just
over him. Yeah,
one of the forgotten kids, not the main circle.
Yeah, I just feel like his soft side's highlighted like, when they... showed it that way.
I remember that part particularly because he said he was an event planner. I'm like, they're obviously playing at the joke that he's got like a lighthearted side. Yeah. And I hadn't heard that for a while.
Yeah, when Marge said they don't want to fight anymore and then basically said go and do something or whatever. And then he was like swooning very like cutesy over that fact. Yeah.
I feel like it's more attributed to the fact that they maybe looked at it after a certain period of time and when Bart's only got one friend. Obviously, Lisa's been established to have no friends, so that's kind of like a non-issue kind of thing.
Easier.
I mean, back in the day, I feel like Bart, had like the one best friend. He did have like a friend group.
A friend group, but they kind of all dropped off after a period of time. And then I think they maybe looked at them when we maybe need to add more like dynamics for Bart to interact with.
Something to bounce off. Yeah.
There was a really good thing that Kearney said, which was in reference to his like clenched fists when... It was in that scene where the bullies came up when Marge was going through all the trainers. He said something about I can't remember who was trying to fight him. It was either Bart or Marge. And he said that his clenched fists look like garlic knots.
No, I don't recall that at all.
Don't recall it? Okay.
The only thing I recall from that scene is fucking when she starts hitting. Oh no, one of them walks up and hits the bag, and she unzips it and finds Martin in there. And then she's like, "Oh, how will your principal like feel about this?" And then Skinner pokes his head out of the bag. He's like, "I'm well aware of the situation." Because he's also tied up, getting punched the fuck out of.
He's getting beaten up also.
It's kind of a pretty comedic thing too. That like they're literally primary school kids, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kicking the shit out of the principal.
Yeah.
A grown man.
Yeah. Who is shown throughout the series to just be like surrendering to pretty much every situation he gets himself into.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and used to be part of the army somehow.
Yeah.
He's a fucking Vietnam veteran.
It's not even Skinner, man.
Yeah, true.
I'm pretty sure he was like a Green Beret.
What's his name?
I think they say
Armin.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Tamzarian.
Armin Tamzarian, yeah.
Yeah. Can I read you a copy of Swank Armin? Yes.
Eat my shorts, children. You know what it says?
Up yours,
Up yours, children.
Oh, fuck me. Fuck it.
I needed those. I really did.
I don't care.
My next note, pretty sure it's straight after Marge going through all those trainers, is it comes up to like a premiere or like a red carpet, and Krusty is walking with Sideshow Mel.
So they're walking into the event.
Yes.
And this is where you needed me.
Yes.
So Mel says something about like him being excited to like see all of the violence, or he's happy that Krusty brought him out to the event. And then Krusty's just like, yeah, I figured it was better to bring you to a public place so you couldn't make a scene. I'm dating your wife, or I've been banging your wife, or something like that. And Mel's like horrified. And then he says something like,
after 11 years, there's just no spark anymore.
Tell her I'm breaking up with her. After 11 years.
This?
It was like when they were walking into the Septagon.
True.
So there's this.
I missed all this. What the fuck is it doing?
Yeah.
After the
sleep at the wheel.
After the training montage, it cuts from there to Marge getting her hands wrapped, and I can't remember exactly what happens in that scene. But then it cuts outside to everybody walking into the event, and that's where that happens.
Yeah. Just super dry, super out of nowhere.
Yeah, just absolutely out of nowhere. Like, I've been fucking your wife for 11 years, and now I'm breaking up with her. And then they just
and
move
you
on.
have to tell her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mel's like nearly crying.
That's dark.
It's
That's
so
why they're in
good.
the TV this week. It was like an honorable mention.
Ah, right.
Oh, bullshit.
Also, because I didn't have any Marge figurines. Apart from the cat Marge.
Wait, you have the figurine, or is it something else in the TV? What's in the TV right now? I want to see
The TV. What do you want me to plug in?
The podcast or the TV?
Suntory's on the TV.
Yeah, fuck it.
I thought you just looked.
So we go pretty much straight from there to just like the fights. Like, there's a couple of funny things from the announcer that I didn't write down. Did you write any of them down?
I've got one. Don't know if it's from the announcer though. I think it was when Chet and Marge were in the ring. So if there's anything else before then, feel free to.
It's probably going to be the same one I've got written down, but go.
This is from Chet.
When he hits her.
That's the first time I hit a woman I didn't love.
Which is also dark as fuck.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yes. When they start the fight. Yeah. It's very dark. I was
super.
I remember that, but I was trying to look because you said, have you got anything written down? And I was like, I should bring up some of my notes.
We gave him no chance. Anyway, we'll move on.
No, I was just gonna say, when they did the start of the fight, she's like didn't want to introduce her weight. And then he next goes, yeah, it's Marge or whatever. The mom I'd like to fight.
The mom I'd like to fight.
I thought the MILF reference was pretty funny for like the older demographic nowadays.
It was pretty good.
Very true.
Pretty clever. Little
Yeah, their wordplay does still hit quite well in these later seasons.
Yeah.
Like they're able to get across a joke without explaining the joke too much.
Well you guys kept on saying that season 20 or newer Simpsons just goes too much.
Yeah.
And at the start of this, when I said the couch gag was fucking very full on, I thought...
You get turned off straight away.
I was like, this is going to be fucking rubbish. And I was super surprised. I loved it because I thought so lowly of it before I started. Yeah.
And
This episode was definitely on the better end of the spectrum.
Yeah. Like, I think you've come in at the right point. Like, most of season 20 was just awful. Up until, like, the last couple. They were quite good.
Well, there was one that was really fucking good. Like, one that we found, like, extremely fucking funny. And then the next couple were, like, sort of okay as opposed to that.
They were sort of on par with how season 21 has opened, being like, you go in with low expectations, you get better results.
Yeah, I just thought it was good for me not watching The Simpsons that much anymore. You guys obviously into it, like reviewing. Yeah, you're like going week by week. So I haven't really watched The Simpsons. I just like kind of lived through when you guys talk about episodes. Like, I don't remember all the good ones or whatever.
Yeah,
but I forgot. Fuck, I lost what I was going to say.
It happens a lot.
I had a really good fucking point.
You had a
dude.
note.
Oh, all I was going to say is the way that this episode I think was good for me is because UFC is so prevalent at the moment. Like it's current. Like it's been around for a long time, but it's like it's huge now. Like every person, obviously probably more of the male demographic you speak to on a Sunday, everyone asks if they're watching the fight or what they think.
Yeah.
Like I'm very few of the people that I'm like, I have fucking really no idea what's going on. Like I know that there's fights on. I know a little bit about the people when the big fights are on, but fuck, I know very little. But around me is surrounded. It's UFC, so it's very prevalent. And I thought it was very like, I don't know, a good episode for what's happening in the modern day. And I don't really, I'd like to. I haven't seen The Simpsons twisted in the modern day so well. That's why I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Sorry for rambling.
No. I was
No, it doesn't.
I was just looking because I thought a similar thing whilst watching this. It's like one of the first times that as a podcast, we've come across an episode that sort of rings true to modern day life.
Yeah.
And around the time that this episode would have aired was when that UFC thing would have started. So they were pretty much at current times.
Yeah, I feel I just feel like because now that it's so big though, you know what I mean? Like at the start.
Yeah.
I probably knew more about it at the start, to be honest. But yeah, it probably came out in that time, but it's still very current to what's happening.
Yeah. There was only like 10 people that fought each other back then.
Yeah.
Whereas
when they
nowadays
probably
it's-
released
Fucking 10 people that fight each other now. What are you talking about?
Well, there you go. Didn't really evolve too much.
It's
but-
just so much more in pop culture. It's such a bigger
Yeah.
thing. Whereas back in the day, it was a lot more niche.
Yeah.
Fighting fans, boxing fans,
100%.
Yes.
dudes watched it. But then now it's fucking every man and his dog watches UFC pretty much. You know, it's a very prevalent
They're just
thing.
jerking off into the void. That
Yeah.
just like dudes are wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just kept eye contact the whole time.
I mean,
and you're like,
I wanted to add to it.
I'm accusing you.
Yeah. I feel like they're definitely screaming and jerking and cry jerking into
Oh,
the
yeah.
void. You know,
heaps of cry wanks.
loudly cry wanking into the world, into the void, and into the world.
Into the world. It's just like a universal fucking...
It's the kind I like.
Certain fans, definitely.
I'm looking
Like
at
the
you,
amount of comments
Boardman.
you'll read on Facebook and just be like, oh, that dude was just like jerking off the entire time he wrote that. Hey. That's a noise he makes when he finishes.
That's his cum noise.
So we're pretty much at the end of the episode here. So there's just like that little sequence that
Mr. Simpson, no!
that was mentioned in the synopsis that you read about Bart jumping in the ring and trying to protect Marge. Then Marge sort of goes psycho and beats the shit out of his Chet.
Yeah, like the protection over Bart, how much love, the mother's love overcomes all kind of fucking vibe.
Yeah, definitely. One of my last notes says, Lenny going off about women proceeds to do exactly what he said women do. It was sort of alluding to the fact that he has those sort of female tendencies.
Lenny?
Yeah.
When the fuck does that happen?
So Lenny and Carl...
Mr. Simpson, no!
Lenny and Carl pop back up in a bar scene towards the end of the episode, and he's saying something about women doing stereotypical things, and then he proclaims that he also does that, but doesn't acknowledge that he said what he said.
Says something about women watching The View all day and eating bonbons. All right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah,
I
then
have an autistic friend here.
then he pulls out. Then he pulls out a
Hey,
like
what,
a
you talking about me?
No, my friend is also autistic.
Oh fuck!
Are you ready to laugh?
That poor dog.
That poor Ned.
He hasn't finished his autism yet.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired
along,
for that
autism.
one.
Okay. Fuck. What was I saying? Lenny. All right, so Lenny pulls out a packet of bonbons. I can't remember whether he like alludes to watching The View. Oh, he says something about The View like having good points. Then pulls out a packet of bonbons, which is a reference to Married with Children.
Oh, right.
Because that's like Peggy would literally sit there all day, eat bonbons, and watch The View.
Okay.
Yes. So in his reference to like what women do all the time is that.
That makes more sense. I wish cultural references would pick up on that blunder.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't there at all.
Well, I'm assuming that's what it is because that's all she did in the show. Like, that was literally her entire character trope for the entire 11 or 10 seasons or however the fuck long it went for.
Yeah.
So if they're not making that reference, then I don't understand what they're doing.
It probably is, but it's also like fucking 20 years out from like when that show ended as well.
Vague as fuck.
What,
yeah.
20 years ago?
Married with Children. Longer than that.
You mean
Like,
Love
like
Actually
the
didn't
80s,
come
right?
out?
Married with Children was like late 80s, early 90s. Married with
Everything is
Children
wrapped up in a neat little package.
was NBC's like, not answer, but like reverse of the Cosby Show. Because the Cosby Show was all like wholesome and stuff like that. And they were like,
Anti-touching kids.
what if we made this the complete opposite?
It's the kind I like.
Yeah, pretty much.
Agreed. First prize.
No roofies.
Well, he didn't touch kids, he just drugged women.
Well.
Mr. Simpson, no!
The only other thing that I've got written is the end scene when it sort of cuts to Bart and Lisa fighting in the ring right at the end, and it cuts to the credits, and then it cuts back to Bart and Lisa fighting because they were sort of like about to hit each other, and it went to black. Comes back and Lisa punches Bart and decks him and leaves him to writhe in pain on the thing. And I just thought that fight scene was quite good.
Yeah, it was great.
That was only like a one-punch scene, no?
It was like
but I think I liked the cut to the credits, and then it came back from the credits.
Oh, and then them laying down. Kind of.
Yeah, Lisa just sort of it stops, and then they come back from the credits, and it starts playing again, and Lisa just hits him in the head. Bart's knocked out. She just walks off, and he does that like leg twitch thing.
Yeah.
But my note that I had for it is the fact that this is probably the only like satisfying ending I've seen to a season 20 slash season 21 episode so far. Every other time I've just been sort of confused as to the way that they've ended it, whereas this one was actually just like, okay, that made sense in relevance to the episode.
I think
and was a funny joke.
Yeah, and it rehashed the sibling rivalry that Bart and Lisa have throughout the series.
Yes.
Like being on the opposing hockey teams and shit like that. It brought an old joke back up.
Fight.
Yeah. Hack the bone. Yeah.
You're in direct competition with each other. You're fighting for a
We
lot.
won't be going out for pizza tonight because I put all the money on the other team.
I was about to say that.
And yeah, last thing is overall I'd give it a C+.
I wanted to also say that there's like a lot more innuendos than I ever remember in The Simpsons. Like right at the end when they leave, no holes barred joke. Like Homer says something about a fight with Marge or going with Marge somewhere, going home with Marge, and then there's a quote. I don't know. I haven't written the whole thing anyway. It says no holes barred, and I feel like the MILF and the no holes barred, they're pretty like out. Yeah,
in a matter of a couple of minutes. Yeah,
they're pretty like adult jokes, which I feel like was less happening back in the day. Like innuendo, but like pretty grim ones.
It wasn't happening less back in the day. It was blended better. There was like a good like
less shock factor.
Less came out of nowhere and was more like attached or was like an extra part of a joke that was already like made for children. Whereas now there is just this massive fucking valley in between jokes that they make for adults and the fact that they're still trying to make this somewhat appealing for children.
Yeah,
and then there's just this huge fucking gap in the middle.
Yeah, whereas they used to smoothly do it before.
I think we've talked about it before, but it's like around the time that like Family Guy, American Dad, and those other like animated sitcoms like started airing on Fox, and they're a bit more edgy, a bit more out there.
Yeah.
Willing to swear, willing to use violence, and The Simpsons sort of tried to do it.
Yeah, they just kind of they
but in its own way, and it just doesn't really work.
Over the top, but then just it blended. Yeah,
and like that's
not their style.
Exactly. That's something they tried and hopefully left behind. Is like they don't have to be something else. They're the ones that started it.
No.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they learned and then bucked the trend after a little while and maybe tried to go back to a little bit of what it was.
Yeah.
Because if this just continues the way it is, the end of these episodes are going to get fucking grim.
I was going to say I'm hopeful for what's to come because like season 21
hasn't been so bad so far.
So
as opposed to some of the season 20 episodes which are just unfucking bearable.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one thing I wanted to bring up about this thing, I wrote a little separate note. When the UFC commissioner comes up to like talk to Marge, he comes up to like a cherry picker to their bedroom window with the fireworks. I didn't really get what was happening, like why they had to do it that way.
I don't even remember that scene.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking. And the fireworks go off. He speaks to like the carny guy, and he's like, "Oh, we've got one more go."
Yep.
They did it early or something, then he had to do it again.
Yeah. Yep. That's coming back to
That
me.
was probably the only part where I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like,
it could have been
just
poking
seems very
fun at
forced.
Yeah. Could have been poking fun at like I remember the WWE like sort of fucking up people's entrances sometimes and like they'd set the fireworks off too soon or too late. That could be what it was trying to parody.
Yeah, like they're all their entertainment.
Yeah, like
Irish.
remember Kane used to get in the ring and like put his hands up and bring him down and the fireworks come out of the posts
Yeah, it was fucking
or the
mad.
flames. Yeah.
Mad.
I remember it didn't go off one time and it was just nothing and he sort of like looked around.
It happens.
Yeah.
A bunch of cuts. Kane, no more fucking violence.
You can have water. Done?
Yeah, you guys got anything else?
No, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it was a good.
Oh yeah, we've got to get rid of the show.
We got to what? End it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Signing off.
Thanks for being here, Killer.
Thanks for
It was a
having
good
me.
time.
It was actually great.
If you're not back before your favourite episode,
I'll be back.
you'll be back
For my
before your favourite
favourite.
episode. But if you're not, we'll see you then.
I mean, I'll be back at my episode unless I'm invited back. So if I'm not back for a while, it's because they don't want me.
Killer was never invited back.
I'll give his guest slot a 1 birth hole out of 2.
I take that as 50% of birth hole.
You take that statistic every time.
Apple, Spotify, YouTube, you know where to find us. We'll speak to you guys next time.
Sometimes Instagram.
Sometimes.
You're not mad at me, are you?
So we asked ourselves, who's behind the badge? Police? Cops? Police cops.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing about that is...
Hang on. Here it comes. You good. It's just piercing himself. I gave him the thumbs like.
Would you killers like to come with me?
He can't even walk towards the door.